Welcome to the British Comedy Radio Channel. Episode number 1.
Whoopee! Oh, you are awful, but I like you.
British comedy, in film, radio and television, is known for its consistently individual characters, plots and settings, and has produced some of the most famous and memorable comic actors and characters. In the 1940s and 1950s, variety dominated the schedules, and popular series included Itma and Much Binding in the Marsh. In the mid-1950s, however, two notable series emerged which would help to shape the future of radio and television comedy in Britain. Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan and Harry Seacombe starred in their own anarchic series The Goon Show, which ran throughout the 1950s. At the same time, the BBC was also running Hancock's Half Hour starring Tony Hancock, the first of a new generation of comedies based on believable characters and situations. BBC Radio has continued to be a breeding ground for new talent, and many programs have transferred successfully to television in recent years.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
A radio version of All Gas and Gaiters was broadcast on BBC Radio 4 from January 1971 to December 1972, for 33 episodes. The radio show used the same cast as the television series, with the exception of Derek Nimmo, who left after the first series and was succeeded by Jonathan Cecil. It starred William Mervyn, John Barron, Robertson Hare, Derek Nimmo, and Jonathan Cecil. The show was predominantly farcical in nature, and was set in the close of the fictional St. Ogg's Cathedral, and concerned various intrigues and rivalries among the clergy in the Church of England. The bishop was easygoing, his friend the archdeacon was elderly, and still appreciative of attractive women. The bishop's chaplain was naive and accident-prone. Their wish to live a quiet bachelor life was continually threatened by the overbearing dean, who tried to bring by the book rule to the cathedral. This episode is called The Bishop Meets a Bird.
We present All Gas and Gaiters. The Bishop Meets a Bird. Starring Robertson Hare, William Mervyn, Derek Nimmo, and John Barron, with this week's special guest, Peter Jones, as Stanley Bird. In the study of the Bishop's Palace at St. Ogg's, in two armchairs before a roaring fire, sit the Bishop and his Archdeacon. They're enjoying their tea, particularly the Archdeacon.
Ah, another cup of tea, Henry.
Oh, thank you, Bishop.
Oh, this is very pleasant.
It certainly is.
What do you have now?
Is that a Swiss roll?
Yes, cream and chopped walnut.
Oh, yes, please.
Won't you have another piece of bread and butter first? It'll only go stale.
Oh, all right, if you say so.
Waste not, want not. Here you are, Henry.
Oh, thank you, Bishop. On second thoughts.
What's the matter?
Well, Newt. I've remembered Newt. We'll leave the bread and butter for him. I'll have the Swiss roll. Mustn't be greedy.
Oh, really, Newt. You know, I'd forgotten all about him.
Where is he, by the way?
Oh, don't ask me, Henry. He's been behaving so oddly lately.
Oh, what's the trouble?
Well, I might as well not have a domestic chaplain. He's never here when I want him. Comes in at all hours saying he's been to the library. His light's on half the night and I can't get him up in the mornings.
Probably going through a difficult patch.
Oh, not again, surely. We had all that last Christmas.
Oh, did we?
Yes, don't you remember? When Canon Haywood's daughter came home in that see-through dress?
Oh. Well, he's young, you know.
Newt? Young? Is he?
Well, isn't he?
I've never really thought about it.
Does he have a cold bath in the mornings?
Not that I know of.
They're very, very bracing. So I'm told.
Ah, that'll be the evening paper. Shan't be a moment, Henry.
Evening paper, your lordship.
Ah, thank you, my boy.
So long.
1 moment. There are 6 copies here.
That's right. Special order. So long.
Now, who can have ordered 6 papers?
Have my papers come, my lord?
Your papers? My dear Newt, what on earth do you want 6 papers for?
Oh, my mother, my lord.
Your mother?
Yes, you see, I think I've discovered something.
What? You've discovered your mother likes the evening paper?
No, my lord, no. It's a significant contribution to historical research. At least I think it is.
Yes, well, I think perhaps you'd better come into the study, sit down quietly and have a nice cup of tea with us.
But I've written an article about it in tonight's paper.
Henry, what are you doing?
Bishop, you've been quick. I was just having another piece of Swiss roll.
Good afternoon, Archdeacon.
Oh, hello, old chap. How do you feel?
Newt tells me he's made a discovery, Henry.
Well, it was bound to happen.
Well, it's rather exciting, Archdeacon.
Yes, nevertheless, if you take my tip, you'll try a cold bath.
He's written an article about it in tonight's paper. Newt, will you kindly read it to us?
Oh, righty-ho, my lord. I'm not sure which page it's on.
Oh, well, come along, Henry. We'll all have a look.
Right, Bishop. Found it.
Good. Let's hear it.
Bishop's secret exposed.
What?
Mr. Herbert Bishop told today of his secret marriage to a 15-year-old schoolgirl. Oh, sorry, Bishop.
Oh, here it is, my lord.
Good. Well, let's hear it. Come on. I must say I like my chaplain to show initiative.
Important discovery, ancient tradition unearthed by the Reverend Mervyn Newt, chaplain to the Bishop of St. Ogg's.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Don't you, Henry?
Oh, most scholarly, Bishop.
Have you ever noticed over the west door of the cathedral the figure of a man with a satchel? Well, spurred on by curiosity, I determined to discover why he was there. Early and exhaustive searches in the cathedral library revealed nothing. The figure refused to yield his secret. Finally, after weeks among the cathedral archives, I chanced upon a paper which I do not believe has seen the light of day since the 14th century. It was, of course, written in Middle Anglo-Saxon. Luckily for me, this presented no difficulty. And here I found the fascinating story of the peddler of St. Ogg's. It appears that one evening Bishop Ogg was coming home after a hard day's work when he saw a poor peddler sitting by the road. "What is the matter, my good man?" quoth the bishop. "Alas, I have nowhere to sleep," was the reply. "Come with me," said the bishop. And so saying, he took the poor peddler home and gave him a meal at his own table and put him to sleep in his own bed. Now, it happened that night that there was a dreadful fire in the bishop's chamber, and the poor peddler was completely burnt. But as the bishop was sleeping in another room, he escaped unharmed, and in thanksgiving decreed that if ever a poor peddler should have nowhere to sleep, he need only apply to the bishop to be treated with the same hospitality that the blessed Bishop Ogg showed to his poor peddler. This edict remains on the statue of our cathedral even today, and is known as
Peddler's Right.
What's that, Henry?
Peddler's Right. It's known as Peddler's Right.
Oh, you know, Archdeacon.
Of course.
But how?
It's in the guidebook.
Oh, well, I never thought of looking there.
You mean you've directed all this effort to unearthing a story that was in the guidebook all the time?
But didn't you know it, Bishop?
Oh, my dear Henry, I've never managed to wade through that guidebook. Anyway, Newt, it was hardly worth writing to the paper about.
Well, I thought it was such a charitable act.
What, letting the poor man roast?
No, my lord, no. Giving up his bed and letting him eat at his own table.
Oh, that?
Yes, I thought it was an example from which the present generation might profit.
Oh, really, Newt? Did you seriously imagine anyone would profit from a story like that?
But, my lord, I thought it was...
Oh, see who's that at the front door, will you, Newt?
Yes, my lord, yes.
I wrote an article once for the Times.
Did you, Henry?
Yes, it was in 1926.
Oh, about the general strike, I suppose.
No, about how to make toffee.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can I help you?
Yes, I rather think you can.
Oh, won't you come in?
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I was hoping I could see the bishop.
Well, have you an appointment, Mr.
Bird, Stanley Bird. No, I'm afraid I haven't. You see, this has all come up a bit sudden.
Oh, well, his lordship is rather occupied at the moment. Can you tell me the nature of your business?
It's personal, a question of accommodation.
Oh, I see, yes. Well, if you'd care to wait, I'll just go and see if his lordship can see you.
Right, thank you very much.
Yes. Would you like to see the evening paper while you wait?
Thanks, but I've read it.
Oh, well, do put your case down.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I say, that looks awfully heavy.
I'll say it is. My wares, you know.
Wares?
Yes, I'm a rep. You know, commercial traveller.
Oh, I see, yes.
Yes, what used to be known in the olden days as a peddler. Know what I mean?
Yes, what? Oh, Moses.
All I'm saying, Newt, is that you should have thought of this possibility before you wrote the article.
I'm sorry, my lord, but it honestly never crossed my mind this would happen.
I've telephoned the Dean and asked him to examine the statute and find the loophole. I'm expecting him to telephone back at any moment.
Right.
That'll be him now. The Palace of the Dogs?
Pew Critchley here, my lord.
Oh, Dean, thank you. Hey, have you found an answer?
Certainly I have.
Splendid. What am I to do?
Hand over your bed immediately.
What?
Treat him as an honored guest and spare no expense. He is to sleep in your bed and eat at your table for as long as he chooses.
But what about the loophole?
There are no loopholes in the statutes of this cathedral, my lord.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Dean.
Not at all, my lord. Glad to have been of help.
What did he say, my lord?
He said, Newt, that you've been very stupid and put me in an intolerable position.
Oh, I'm very sorry, my lord.
There's no good being sorry. He's here. Oh, well, then I suppose we've got to make the best of it.
Well, actually, it's really rather romantic, you know. I mean, coming here like this after 7 centuries.
It's a pity he couldn't have chosen one of the other 6. It's ridiculous nonsense about my bed. I mean, it's so unnecessary.
But it's on the statute, my lord.
If anybody mentions that word again...
I'm sorry, my lord. I'm sorry.
Ooh, the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in. Oh, get me a glass of sherry.
Yes, of course, my lord. Yes.
Henry, at last. How did you get on with the shopping?
Oh, everywhere was shut, except the Indian shop in Bridge Street.
You got the bread, potatoes and cheese?
Oh, not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Well, I got a packet of rice, a tin of curry powder, and half a pound of desiccated coconut.
Well, we shall just have to curry the chicken and hope it goes round.
Where is the intruder?
Upstairs.
Has he told any more of those jokes about clergymen?
Wasn't that embarrassing, that dreadful story?
Yes, and he got the end wrong. Still, I expect we'll get used to him after he's been here a while.
Henry, how long do you think he's likely to stay?
Oh, he'll soon move on.
Do you think so?
Oh, you're certain, Bishop. These chaps never stay anywhere long.
There you all are. Do I intrude?
Oh, no, not at all, Mr. Bird. Won't you come in?
Thank you. Well, it's nice in here. Somebody's got good taste.
Newt, a chair for Mr. Bird.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Well, I hope you found everything satisfactory in my, in your room.
Oh, yes, fine, thanks. Plain, but very comfortable. It's unostentatious.
Yes, well, I'm sorry things are a little makeshift tonight. Our daily woman will be here tomorrow.
Case of cherchez la femme, eh? Well, what time do you gentlemen have supper?
We dine at 8.
Well, we've just got time to slip down to the hostelry and partake of a glass of conviviality. Any of you gentlemen care to join me in the goat and compasses?
No, thank you, Mr. Bird. I might get in the way.
Yeah, perhaps you might. Well, I'll be off then. I'll see you later.
Look, before you go, may we ascertain whether you have any preference about food, or can you eat anything?
Oh, I'm a very easy man to please, though. I can eat anything you like.
Good. Well, tonight we're having curry...
Except chicken.
Oh.
I can't be in the same room as a chicken. I'm what you call allergic to birds.
How extraordinary. Do you know, I have an auntie who was allergic to shellfish. One shrimp and she came out in a hot flush.
Well, it's the same with me and our feathered friends. I've only got to look at an egg or a feather, and it brings me out something horrible all over
Yes. Well, we all have our little problems.
Well, that's me, the bird who doesn't like birds. Mind you, I get on all right with the other sort. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean wild birds?
No. The wilder, the better. I'll tell him either now.
Wait, one moment. Mr. Bird, please. Tell me, are you likely to be staying long?
Oh, no, it's a new territory, and I'm only having a look round for a few days.
Oh, just a few days, eh?
Oh, that's right.
2 or 3, perhaps.
Oh, certainly no longer.
Ah.
This time.
This time?
I'll be back in a fortnight, of course, for 3 months. Well, I'll see you at Den's.
Ooh.
Even the Castle Hotel in Market Street is full, and that's gone right down.
And the price? Well, I've been lucky, got in at Homely. I'm always all right there.
That's a bit far out for me.
Trouble fixing up, Mr. Timms?
You must be joking, Doris.
Oh, it's Wilkins, the glue people. Their convention.
Is that so, Mrs. Pitt?
Yes, it's every year.
The place is as bad as Brighton.
Oh, look, there's old,
oh, yes, the chap who was in here earlier, Stanley Bird.
Hello, all. Get fixed up, did you?
I could put in a word for you at the Homely, if you like.
Who's saying I'm all right? I'm in.
Oh, where?
You haven't got in at the castle?
No, the palace.
Where's that? You don't mean you...
You didn't get...
You went there and asked?
Why not? It said in the paper.
Did you hear that, Mrs. Pitt? Really, I never thought you'd go.
Oh, no, did I? What did they say?
Oh, they were very nice, really.
How long are you there for? Just the night, is it?
Long as I want.
Well, I'm blowed.
They told me to make myself at home.
Here, what'll you have?
No, thanks. This is on me. I can't stay long. They're getting my dinner.
You mean you're getting full board?
My own room, grub, everything, all for free.
Something.
Come on, all now, drink up. I've got 3 days exit, so it's shorts all round. Let's celebrate. Now, what do you have?
Pitt.
Oh,
a rum
and... 3, 4, 5. That's enough curry powder, Bishop.
Right. Now, we put this on the stove and we stir it, do we, Henry?
That's what it says here, on a low light.
And that is a Madras curry.
Yes. 1 more tablespoonful, and it becomes a bindaloo.
Oh, right. Pity you couldn't eat the chicken. Still, it's lucky you found that tin of corned beef.
Yes, I've had it by me since the war.
Really?
Yes, since 1918.
1918? Over 50 years? Well, in that case, 6, 7, 8...
Bishop, what are you doing with the curry powder?
I'm making it a bindaloo, Henry.
I can tell you jokes all night.
I don't doubt it.
Mind you, I'm picking them, nothing crude. Oh, I wouldn't.
Oh, will you have some coffee?
Why not? You only live once. Don't you agree, Bishop?
Well, not entirely. Where has Newt got to?
He's upstairs. I don't think he's feeling very well.
Funny that, I'm fond of curry myself. Did you hear the one about the clergyman who met an Indian fakir in the middle of the Go-By desert?
No. I must go. Oh, good night, Bishop. Good night.
Henry, you are not deserting me.
Aren't I, Bishop?
No.
No, don't go yet. We're only just beginning to enjoy ourselves.
Ah, there you are, Newt.
How are you feeling, old chap?
Well, a little better, thank you, Archdeacon. I think it was the curry.
Bindaloo.
Yes, several times, Archdeacon.
Never mind about that, Newt. Have some coffee.
No, thank you, my lord. No.
That reminds me, did you hear about the lady organist who invited the curate for coffee?
Shall we put on the television?
Oh, yes, my lord. Do you mind, Mr. Barr?
No, if you want it, have it. I don't want to be in any way a burden.
Do you watch much television?
Not much now. I find it interferes with conversation. Here, did you hear the one about the curate and the lady contortionist?
Oh, all your stories about clergymen, Mr. Barr.
I'll just switch the machine on.
I only tell them to you, gentlemen, because I know they'll appeal. That's what you have to do in my line, you see. Study the customers.
Wait a minute. Here it comes.
Tonight's speaker is the Reverend Reginald Eustace Jones, Vicar of St. Bright's, Padgley.
Gracious. I was up at Selwyn with his father.
Good evening. I wonder if you've ever heard the story about the travelling salesman. One day he knocked at the door of a lovely old...
Mr. Bird, why have you turned it off?
Well, load of rubbish. Why do people always pick on travelling salesmen to tell jokes about? We're just ordinary people doing an ordinary job.
In which case, I think it is time for bed.
Bed? Did you say bed?
Yes, for those who have them to go to.
Well, a bit early, isn't it?
Well, for us, no.
But, oh, well. Oh, dear, it's a bit embarrassing, really. You see, I've asked some friends round.
You've done what?
Well, you said I was to make myself at home, and we've been celebrating, you see. Oh, they're all right, nice, affable people. I mean, you needn't worry, they're very clean.
But couldn't they have come earlier?
Earlier? How could they? It's only just closing time.
But you don't intend to entertain them here.
Well, of course not. I wouldn't dream of taking such a liberty. I shall take them up to my room. Oh, that'll be the lads now. Now, don't shift. I'll let them in.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you found it then?
No trouble at all.
Oh, come along in.
Oh, this is a bit of all right.
Isn't it nice? A bit tasteful. Come in, Mrs. Pitt.
Oh, you've done yourself all right, then.
What's happening, Newt?
Well, there are dozens of people here, my lord. Oh, Grayson, there's a man with a record player.
I'm not standing for this.
Bishop, you're not calling the police?
No, the Dean.
Hugh Critchley speaking.
Dean, something must be done.
Who is that?
Me, Dean, the bishop.
No, is it important? I'm just going to bed.
Well, of course it's important. This bird...
What bird?
This man...
I thought you said this bird.
I did. This man-bird.
My lord, have you been drinking?
Of course I haven't been drinking. I'm talking about this man, this peddler.
Aye, give his hand with this.
No, my lord.
What's the matter?
Well, there are two men with a crate of bottled beer.
Really? Oh, let me see.
No, Henry, I forbid you to go out there.
My lord, what about the peddler?
So very sorry, Dean. Well, it's all quite impossible. He's invited a whole lot of people round here.
What's wrong with that?
Wrong? I can't have my palace turned into a nightclub.
You've no alternative.
Yes, I have. I intend to throw them all out of my house.
Oh, but you can't. You can't take the law into your own hands. It's expressly against the statute. You'll find yourself before the Court of Arches.
But, Dean, surely there's something I can do. I mean, there must be.
There is.
I knew it. What is it? Tell me quickly.
Change the statute by Act of Parliament. Good night.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, yes, Mr. Bird. What do you want now?
Nothing, sir. I just wanted to say sleep well.
What are you doing here at this time?
Couldn't sleep.
Oh, it's probably the curry. I don't think it was quite, sort of
No, it's the noise.
Really? Can you hear it?
Everyone can hear it. There are lights on everywhere. The whole close is awake.
Oh, Grace, well, you better go and tell the bishop. He's in the study. I just made this cocoa for him.
Hello, Henry.
Bishop, do you know what the time is?
3:20.
Lord?
Oh, thank you, Newt. Cocoa is just what I need.
But can't you do something?
Well, what do you suggest?
Well, can't you go up there?
I went.
Oh, what happened?
They gave me a glass of rum and peppermint.
Didn't you remonstrate with them?
Yes, and they promised to be as quiet as possible. Listen. Oh, no, it's no good, Henry. I'm beaten.
One moment, Bishop. Isaiah, chapter 55, verse 12.
What do you mean, Henry?
Leave it to me, Bishop.
What's the Archdeacon going to do, my lord?
As far as I can make out, he's going to read Isaiah to him. Well, at least he's arrived safely. Who can that be?
My lord, I have been awakened.
Well, you're very lucky I haven't been to sleep.
Are you not aware, my lord, that riotous behaviour after curfew is in direct contravention of the statute?
Well, of course I'm aware of it, Dean, but you know who is responsible.
Indeed I do. You are.
Me? How dare you suggest such a thing? It's that man Bird and his friends.
They may be making the noise, my lord, but you are responsible. As the householder, it is up to you to see that your house is properly conducted. It is clearly laid down in the statutes.
How dare you come here, Dean?
Hey, my lord, listen.
I refuse to listen to any more.
No, listen to the party, my lord. They are dancing the conga.
Oh, Oh, it doesn't sound as though poor old Henry's had much effect.
But they're coming downstairs. Oh, look, the Archdeacon, he's leading the crocodile. He's leading them, my lord.
Archdeacon! What is the meaning of this?
Isaiah, Dean, go out in peace and be led forth with joy.
Oh, Archdeacon, how clever of you.
Thank you, Knut. Open the front door, will you?
Allow me, Henry.
Come on, everyone. I came, I saw, I conquered.
Good morning, Newt.
Good morning, my lord.
What's the matter?
Well, I think I've got a cold coming on.
Has Mr. Bird come down yet?
No, my lord, no, there's no sign of him.
That'll be Henry.
Morning, Bishop.
Ah, dear old Henry, come on in. What's it feel like to be a hero?
Oh, clever Archdeacon. Where did you end up?
Yes, did he go off all right?
Oh, it would have done, Bishop, if the Dean hadn't left his front door open. What's the news?
None, Henry, none. Mr. Bird's not up yet. Really, the thought of interminable days and nights of this is more than I can bear.
Good morning.
Mr. Bird, good morning. Did you sleep well?
No, I did not. I've got a bone to pick with you.
I beg your pardon?
That bed, it's got bugs in it.
It's got what?
You heard me, bugs.
I can assure you it has nothing of the sort.
You see for yourself. I'll unbutton my shirt. Look, I'm eaten alive.
I do not wish to see, and I can assure you that my bed...
Quiet, Bishop. What are you going to do about it, Mr. Bird?
Me? I'm leaving.
You are?
Well, I knew there'd be a catch in it when I saw the paper. I expected it would be a bit boring, but I thought at least you'd be clean.
Really? I must...
Disgusting, I call it.
Good morning.
I've a good mind to report you to the town hall.
Good morning.
Cleanliness is next to godliness, you know. You want to remember that. Good morning.
Oh, really? This is too much.
But he has gone, my lord.
To suggest there are bugs in my bed. Really, it's the cleanest and most comfortable bed.
Why is it so comfortable, Bishop?
What do you mean?
Well, what makes it so comfortable?
Well, it's a good bed.
But what sort of a bed?
Well, a feather bed, actually. But they're no more prone to bugs than any other.
Exactly. Feathers.
Oh, feathers, of course, yes. He's allergic to birds, remember?
Show me an egg or a feather, and it brings me out something horrid.
Of course! How splendid! Well. What a happy issue out of our afflictions. So much for peddlers' rights, And note, no more articles.
Oh, no, my lord, no.
Come on, Henry, I think this calls for a celebration.
A sherry, Bishop.
Well, it's a little bit early, but why not? Let's go into the study. Answer the door, will you, Newt?
Well, do you think I should, my lord?
Why ever not?
Well, Mr. Bard might have changed his mind.
Oh, good gracious, yes, I hadn't thought of that. Better have a peep through the window.
Righty here, my lord.
Who is it?
All clear, my lord. It's only an Indian gentleman.
An Indian?
Yes, he's got a turban, and he has a roll of something under his arm.
Oh, well, you better see what he wants.
Righty-ho, my lord, yes. Good morning, can I help you?
If you please, Reverend young sir, I was reading in the paper of the most hospitable Bishop of St. Hugh's. Now, I am a poor peddler, and it is according to me...
In that episode of All Gas and Gaiters, the parts were played as follows. The Archdeacon, Robertson Hare, the Bishop, William Mervyn, the Bishop's Chaplain, the Reverend Newt, Derek Nimmo, the Dean, John Barron, Stanley Bird, Peter Jones. Other parts were played by Margot Boyd, Joe Manning Wilson, Sean Barrett, and Ronald Forfar. The Bishop Meets a Bird was written for television and adapted for radio by Pauline Devaney and Edwin Apps. The program was produced by David Hatch.
Oh, lady, Aha!
Whatever's wrong?
I've lost the end of my yodel.
Mary Lou, come back.
I'll tell you how it happened. I was climbing through a cloud and the wind was blowing loud and the mountainside was wet and slippery. I looked up to give a yodel like a Tyrolean yokel, then I slipped and ripped my yodel. I lost the end of my yodel. Whatever will I do? What will become of me? A yodel without an end is like a whistle without a peal. Lost the end of my yodel. Mary Lou, come back. Everything will be all right. It's wonderful what they can do nowadays. Oh dear. If there's anyone out there with a yodel they can spare, with a little end of one of me, I just slipped and fell, it's tragic, lost my little bit of magic, lost the end of my yodel. I lost the end of my yodel. Whatever will I do? I'll have to fix it soon. A yodel without an end is like a honey without a moon. Lost the end of my yodel.
You could hear the hoofbeats pound as they raced across the ground, and the clatter of the wheels as they spun round and round. And he galloped into Market Street, his badge upon his chest. His name was Ernie, and he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. Now Ernie loved a widow, a lady known as Sue. She lived all alone in Lily Lane at number 22. They said she was too good for him. She was haughty, proud and chic. But Ernie got his cocoa there 3 times every week. They called him Ernie. And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. She said she'd like to bathe in milk. He said, all right, sweetheart. And when he'd finished work one night, he loaded up the cart. He said, you want it pasteurized, 'cause pasteurized is best. She says, Ernie, I'll be happy if it comes up to me chest. That tickled old Ernie. And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. Now Ernie had a rival, an evil-looking man called Two-Ton-Ted from Teddington, and he drove the baker's van. He tempted her with his treacle tarts and his tasty oatmeal bread, and when she seen the size of his hot meat pies, it very near turned her head. She nearly swooned at his macaroon, and he said, now if you treat me right, you'll have hot rolls every morning and crumpets every night. He knew once she sampled his layer cake, he'd have his wicked way, and all Ernie had to offer was a pint of milk a day. Poor Ernie. And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. One lunchtime, Ted saw Ernie's awesome cart outside her door. He drove him mad to find it was still there at 4:30. And as he leapt down from his van, off blood through his veins did course, and he went across to Ernie's cart, and he didn't half kick his horse, whose name was Trigger. And he pulled the fastest milk cart in the West. Now Ernie rushed out into the street, his gold top in his hand. He said, if you want to marry Susie, you fight for her like a man. Oh, why don't we play cards for her, he sneeringly replied. And just to make it interesting, we'll have a shilling on the side. Now Ernie dragged him from his van, and beneath the blazing sun, they stood there face to face, and Ted went for his bun. But Ernie was too quick, things didn't go the way Ted planned, and a strawberry-flavoured yoghurt sent it spinning from his hand. Now Susie ran between them and tried to keep them apart, and Ernie pushed her aside, and a rock cake caught him underneath his arch. And he looked up in pained surprise, and the concrete hardened crust of a stale pork pie caught him in the eye, and Ernie bit the dust. Poor Ernie. Ernie! And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West. Ernie was only 52. He didn't want to die. But now he's gone to make deliveries in that milk round in the sky, where the customers are angels and ferocious dogs are banned, and a milkman's life is full of fun in that fairy dairy land. But a woman's needs are manifold. And so she married Ted. But strange things happened on their wedding night as they lay in their bed. Was that the trees a-rustling, or the hinges of the gate? Or Ernie's ghostly gold tops a-rattling in their crate? They won't forget Ernie.
Ernie!
And he drove the fastest milk cart in the West.
Beyond Our Ken ran from 1958 to 1964. It was the radio comedy program, which was the predecessor to Round the Horn. Both programs starred Kenneth Horne, Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddock, Betty Marsden, and Bill Pertwee, with announcer Douglas Smith. Musical accompaniment was provided by the BBC Revue Orchestra. This episode is called A Cockeyed Optimist.
And that may sound rather complicated to you. For one very good reason, it is rather complicated. But you are listening to the Home Service, so don't be misled, even when our announcer comes on and says,
"This is the BBC Light Programme."
I say, wait a minute. Here, how do you do?
How do you do?
Come here often?
Well, only when I have some announcing to do.
Oh, what do you say?
Oh, nothing much. Things like, this is the BBC Light Programme.
Oh, that's very good, isn't it? Nice, yeah. Go on, say again, just once.
No, I'd rather not.
No, go on, be a devil.
No, it sounds so trite.
Well, trite.
Oh, very well. This is the BBC Light Programme.
Only marvellous. Good. Here, Hugh, what would you say if you were an announcer and you had to say something like that? How would you do it?
Something like that.
Oh, that's nice, too. I say, Betty, come here and meet an announcer.
Why, is he nice?
Charming. You know, he says things beautifully.
And he's got the cleverest little catchphrase.
Oh, what?
This is the BBC Live Programme.
Oh, how divine. I must listen.
And so you shall. Go on, Mr. Announcer.
Oh, all right. This is the BBC Light Programme.
Oh, it's out of this world.
She hasn't finished yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, whatever happens during the next 30 minutes will certainly be beyond our ken.
Oh, very nice. Very good.
What do you mind? Do you mind keeping quiet?
Hey, what did he say?
He said keep quiet.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Among those taking part are Hilary St. Upjohn Crumble, Marjorie Hawkflitch, Sir Cranworthy Critchington Groyle, Fatima Higgins, Gladys Rumbold, Alderman George Simcox, and, of course, Mr. Kenneth Horne, who prefers to remain anonymous. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Horne.
Hello and good evening. Well, first of all, here's a special message to all our listeners in Iceland. Wrap up. Well, now, tonight I was going to talk to you about current affairs, but quite frankly, I've never had an affair with the current, so instead, let me tell you about some of the things that happened to me last week. On Monday, I attended a wine tasting festival. On Tuesday, I was told that I had a good time on Monday. But just the same, Tuesday evening, I popped into the Folies Bergère, but there wasn't much on, so instead I went along to the Poetry Lovers Guild at Oxshott, and I listened to some rather unusual verse reading given by a young lady from Gloucester. She'd obviously led a very full life. On Wednesday, I went to Gloucester. Thursday, I spent all the morning digging in the garden and mowing the lawn. Afternoon, I played 4 sets of tennis and I won them all. What's more, I felt as fresh as a daisy, and I don't want you to think I'm boasting, but I must say that lots of men half my age just couldn't have managed it. I suppose it's because I always keep myself in tip-top condition. Friday, I couldn't move. But Saturday was really an eventful day. I remember that morning, I'd got up earlier than usual. Yes, Prudence, I'm in the bath. What is it?
Mr. Owen, your breakfast nearly ready.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Prudence.
Yes, sir?
Have you seen anything of my midget submarine?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's funny. It was here in the bath the last time I reviewed the fleet. Now, let's see. Cruisers, battleship, destroyer. Aircraft carrier. Oh, it's all right, Prudence. I found it. I'll come right down.
Morning, Mr. Horne.
Oh, good morning, Prudence.
Here's your paper, sir, and the Morning Post. Oh, now come along, sir. Your breakfast will be getting cold.
All right. Hold on. Well, now, let's just have a look at the crossword, shall we? One down. What you'd expect to find in a monastery garden. 4 letters. Oh, I can't be bothered with the thing this morning. Let's have a look at some of these letters. Now, here's an invitation to dinner.
Captain and Mrs. Barrington Wycherley Struve request the pleasure of your company at a champagne supper at Barrington Towers on the occasion of their winning the first divvy on the football pools.
Sounds rather jolly. Oh, here's another invitation. Now, what does this one say?
Mr. Humphrey Boreham Stiff will be at home at 7:30 on the evening of the 14th.
Yes. Yes, and so will Kenneth Horne. Oh, this one looks interesting.
We should like to have you for luncheon on the 28th.
Signed, the South Borneo Cannibals Association. Now, what else is there? This one looks exciting. Exotic perfume, tiny, ladylike handwriting. Who could it be? Oh, it's from Pat Lancaster.
Dear Ken, I've been going through several songs for the new show, and I think perhaps you might like a song from South Pacific. It's called A Cockeyed Optimist. P.S. It goes like this. When the sun is a bright canary yellow, I forget every cloud I've ever seen. So they call me a cockeyed optimist, immature and incurably green. I have heard people rant and rave and bellow that we're done and we might as well be dead. But I'm only a cockeyed optimist, and I can't get it into my head. I hear the human race is falling on its face and hasn't very far to go. But every whippoorwill is selling me a bill and telling me it just ain't so. I could say life is just a bowl of jello and appear more intelligent and smart, but I'm stuck like a dope with a thing called hope, and I can't get it out of my heart. Not this heart. I hear the human race is falling on its face and hasn't very far to go. But every whippoorwill is selling me a bill and telling me it just ain't so. I could say life is just a bowl of jello and appear more intelligent and smart, but I'm stuck like a dope with a thing called hope, and I can't get it out of my heart. Not this heart.
Yes, I think the song she suggests should be jolly good. In fact, I can't wait to hear it. I get a nice round of applause afterwards, probably, too. Oh, dear, look, what's this? OHMS. Good heavens, it's from my income tax office.
Dear sir, you may not be aware of this, but a proposal is being made to pull down your local income tax offices and to erect in its place a theatre. A protest meeting will be held at 11:15 on Saturday, when we hope to have your support.
What a nerve. I wouldn't dream of going.
P.S. Don't forget you still owe us some money.
You can certainly count on my support. Now, what time does it say? 11:15? Oh, good heavens, I must hurry. I just made it. Lucky it's only 4 doors away.
A protest meeting? Right inside, sir. You're just in time.
My friends, this is indeed a most serious business. If this tax office is pulled down, it will be the thin end of the wedge. More and more tax offices will go, and less people will be paying income tax.
Yeah. Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
My friends, one day income tax may become a memory of the past. But mark my words, no form of entertainment, however sordid or debased it might be, will ever take the place of the living, breathing commissioners of inland revenue.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a proposition?
All depends what it is, madam.
Well, in the view of the fact that our premises are to be demolished to make way for a place of entertainment, I should like to put it to the meeting that we anticipate their scheme by ourselves supplying entertainment in income tax offices. You know, a sort of pay-as-you-laugh service. Or assessments with a smile.
Well, at that point I left. Quite frankly, the whole idea of entertainment in income tax offices gave me quite a lot to think about. I mean, can you imagine what it would be like to walk into your local tax office one day and be greeted by this sort of thing?
Well, hello there. This is your genial host and compere, 247/2984/38 subsection D, saying good afternoon and welcome to the Income Tax Show. Yes, if we can bring just one smile to one little face today, then somebody slipped up somewhere. And now, dear sir or madam, with reference to our show, I am commanded by the Commissioners of Inland Revenue to bring you Government Grant and his Whitehall Steel Band.
Income tax, everybody hates income tax. People's hearts are filled with hope
till they get that little puff envelope.
A married man with no family was claiming an allowance on Schedule D. He came to children, and in that place he wrote the words, "Watch this space."
Income tax, everybody hates income tax. 1906 is the surtax rate. It's a wonder everybody doesn't emigrate. Pay-o, pay-o.
Taxman coming, I want to go home.
A businessman whose name you needn't know to Paris with his secretary had to go. The expense was allowed as necessary. A successful trip, not a word to Bessie.
Income tax, everybody hates income tax. We brought you the news that you wanted to hear in tonight's report on the fiscal year.
Olé.
And now, to deal with your tax problems, here is Miss Romney Marshes.
It's been a worrying week for some of you. The particularly anxious blue eyes of Finchley. No, dear, under no circumstances should you accept a present of 51% of the preferred ordinary shares, or you'll find that in no time at all he'll be giving you the business. And now we turn to Lonely of the Conservative Club Moscow. You say that since you've been out of the country, your wife's taxes have got in arrears. Tell her as nicely as you can to take them out of arrears and send them to the nearest tax office. Well, now, our last problem comes from Goldilocks of South Kensington, who is actually with us today. Would you come up here, please, Goldilocks of South Kensington? Goldilocks, come along, Goldilocks, dear. Don't be bashful now. Come along. That's right.
Well, I wish I hadn't written to you now.
My dear, we're all friends here. Now, what is your problem, Goldilocks?
Well, you know on the income tax form there's a little box affair and it says, do not write in this space.
Yes?
Well, I wrote in it.
Oh, did you now? Well, let's have a look at what you wrote. Oh! Well, I think this should be dealt with by our expert from the Treasury, Mr. Maltravers.
Hello? Who called? Somebody want me?
Yes, Mr. Maltravers. Perhaps you'd read this.
Hey, that's putting it a bit strong, isn't it? I'd never have thought this of you, dear.
I didn't write it. He did.
Oh, that's all right then, Mrs. Marshes. You better leave this to me. Now, sir, first of all, I think I should point out that, of course, we can't possibly do what you suggest. However, if you feel that we have assessed you rather harshly, then we'll give you a chance to reduce the tax payable in our new quiz game, Beat the Assessor.
Oh, thank you.
Now then, sir, for each question answered correctly, we halve your tax, but should you fail to answer them, then your tax is doubled, right?
Right.
Right. First question. What is the difference between a red plush carpet? Give reasons.
Well, I suppose you might say that the overall effect is dependent upon...
I'm sorry, sir, your time is up. Bad luck. That's doubled your assessment, but you're still in the game. Now, question number two. Number two, listen carefully. There is a cage 30 feet long containing a full-grown Bengal tiger. At each end of the cage, there is a hole through which the tiger can put its head. Right? The tiger runs down the cage at 30 miles an hour and sticks its head through one hole. He then runs up the cage at 40 miles per hour and sticks his head through the other hole. Then down the cage at 50 miles an hour and sticks his head through the first hole, up the cage at 60 miles an hour and sticks his head through the other. Now the question is, at what speed will the tiger be travelling when he can stick his head through both holes at once?
Let me see, 4-no trumps.
I'm sorry, sir. You failed to beat the assessor, which means you now owe us the sum of £15,942. But now it's the jackpot question and your chance to wipe out your entire debt by answering just one simple musical question. Right. Can we have the blindfold, please? There. That's it. Now, you can't see, can you, sir?
No.
Good. Then listen. Now, what tune is this and who is playing it?
Soldier, soldier, won't you marry me with your musket, fife and drum?
Oh, thank you, style of the Malcolm Mitchell Trio.
Soldier, soldier, won't you marry me with your musket, fife and drum? How could I marry such a pretty girl as thee when I got no boots to put on?
Oh, how can I marry such a pretty girl as thee when I got no boots to put on?
Well, up to the cobbler she did go as fast as she could run.
Run!
Bought him a pair, the best that were there, and the soldier put them on.
She bought him a pair of the best that were there, and the soldier put them on.
Well, soldier, soldier, won't you marry me with your musket, fife and drum? How could I marry such a pretty girl as thee when I got no socks to put on?
How can I marry such a pretty girl as thee when I got no socks to put on?
Off to the haberdasher she did go as fast as she could run.
Run!
Bought him a pair of the best that were there, and the soldier put them on.
She bought him a pair of the best that were there, and the soldier put them on.
Soldier, soldier, won't you marry me with your musket, fife and drum? How could I marry such a pretty girl as thee when I've got no pants to put on?
How can I marry such a pretty girl as thee when I got no pants to put on?
Well, off to the tailor she did go as fast as she could run.
Run!
Bought him a pair of the best that were there, and the soldier put them on.
She bought him a pair of the best that were there, and the soldier put them on.
Soldier, soldier, won't you marry me with your musket, fife and drum? Oh, how could I marry such a pretty girl as thee? With a wife and a baby at home. With a wife and a baby at home. With a wife and a baby at home. With a wife and a baby at home.
And now we come to the special Kenneth Horne documentary feature, Hornorama. Yes, each week at this time, Kenneth Horne and his team of investigators will bring you a factual report on topics of immediate interest. And tonight we present a close-up on atomic power. Is it here to stay?
And if so, are we? Well, now, what is atomic power? I'll just ask this policeman. Morning, Constable.
Good morning, sir.
I wonder if you could help.
Yes, certainly, sir.
Well, now, Constable, what is atomic power?
Oh, well, now, sir, the atomic power, now, that happens to be one of my pet subjects, as you might say.
Oh, splendid. Well, perhaps you'd tell us all you know.
Certainly, sir. On the 15th of June, I was proceeding in a southeasterly direction up Half Moon Street when I perceived a motor vehicle parked on one side of the road. Thinking there was something odd about the date, I approached.
Yes. Quite so, officer, yes. But what is atomic power?
I'm coming to that,
Well,
sir.
I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, I take out my notebook and I duly goes up to the owner of the aforementioned motor vehicle and I says, "Hello," I say. "I suppose you're aware, sir, that this here vehicle is causing an obstruction to the other motor vehicles using the street."
Yeah, Constable, very interesting indeed. But what is atomic power?
Let me tell it in my own way, sir. Now, at this point, I observed the driver of this particular vehicle was beginning to get a bit nasty about the situation. Well, now, you know us London policemen. It isn't often we have to resort to the use of force in the execution of our duty, but on this occasion, I'm afraid I had to bring into operation my handcuffs and take the driver into custody. And that's why, as you can see, one handcuff is attached thus to my right wrist, and the other... Well, now he's gone.
What is atomic power? Doesn't anybody know what it is?
Yes, I think I might be able to help. Here's my card.
Oh, thank you. Very glad to have you with us, Mr. Henry Spindlethrow of the International Atomic Research Association. Well, now, sir, perhaps you'll just briefly tell us all about it, will you?
Certainly. Well, you see, a formulade for this in expressia of mathematics. Would you like that?
Yes, I would. Please go on those lines.
Well, the average curriculum at the 11 or plus C gives it a half cm of each squared D. You see? And the basic fundamental... A fundamental of it was the first formation of the solar system where exploding...
Yes, I quite understand that now. A lot of us I know, I and in common with many other people, have been worried about fallout. What is your view on that?
I'm glad you asked me that one. Yes. Well, where that of the mercy in the holy doom fall out, folly and constrain it. The Portia heard the Saturn merchant of venison.
Now, tell me, how does nuclear fission come into all this?
Ah, yes. Well, now, there is a real concentrale before the zeta exploded most of the escape electrodes. See? And it manifests, or shall I give you a manifest and a practical for it?
I think it would be better that way.
Yes, well, there you see, in the average lighter will gradually develop its down to a very tiny triddly-howdy lighter, which exploded and burn away half the cigar into the throat of the larynx of the human being. You see? Also, it's going to make it simple for the housewife in the laundrette where rotating the blankie. Oh, yes.
Yes, that I can understand very easily. Now, sir, it has been nice of you. Nice of you to come along here today. Have you got some message that you'd like to go away with or send over to mankind, really, to tell us about atomic power and the benefits that it can bring?
May I do it in the words of the poem, man?
Yes, I'd be glad if you would.
Yes. Well, here and where that, or the average walking, I'll do Shakespeare for it again, if I may the most, where you walk or strut it on that stage, then scan the leader for your newspaper page and suffer your most for day. The human being put his nose to the grindstone, all will be well at form. Oh, yeah.
Well, now that we know what atomic power is, how will it affect our everyday lives? Well, one day, undoubtedly, it'll take the place of our present heating system.
George?
What is it?
It's getting quite cold in here. Pop out and fill up the scuttle with some more uranium.
Oh, all right. I'll just chuck this last bit on the fire. Horrible slatey stuff.
And then again, in the kitchen of the future, pride of place will go to the atomic pressure cooker.
Edith, Charles, Peter, Robin, come along. Dinner's on the ceiling.
But perhaps one of the most interesting developments will come when it's possible atomically to control the weather.
Hello? Air Ministry? Yes. Oh, just one moment. I'll put you through to the weather controller.
Weather controller.
Agriculture here. I say, old man, the crops in the Dorset area are getting a bit parched. Could you possibly lay on a rather heavy downpour for us?
Yes, got that. Heavy downpour, Dorset area. Just a minute. Hello, your heavy downpour will be starting in 10 seconds from now.
Hello, Arthur. That rain come down a bit sudden, didn't it? My rheumatism and half twinging me is something chronic.
Fair throwing it down it is. Terrible weather. I don't care what they say. If you ask me, I reckon it's all these atoms that are doing it.
Yes, I think it is too. Well, so much for the future. Now, what of atomic power today? Well, it's still mostly in the experimental stage, and the other day I visited one of our principal atomic research stations.
Halt! Who goes there?
All right, no need for alarm, it's only me.
Oh, it was me.
Kenneth Horne, I'm from the BBC. No, you don't understand. I'm not from Workers' Playtime. I got a personal letter of introduction to the Director of Research.
Very good, sir. You'll find him in the radioactivity room.
I see. How will I recognize him?
Quite easy, sir. He's the one that glows.
Thank you.
Kenneth Horne?
Yes, that's right. Well, now, sir, perhaps you'd tell me exactly what you do here.
No, pleasure. Well, now, you see this machine here? Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think it is?
What, this one? Well, I'd say it was a superhedrodonic regurgitating calculator.
Oh. However did you know?
It was just a shot in the dark? How does it work?
Well, first we get some plutonium, and then we get some uranium, and we mix them all together in this cyclotron, and then we turn on the gas, and before you can say Jersey flock, we raise it to a temperature of 60,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Good gracious, what's it used for?
Making toast. Oh, now, you just make yourself at home, and don't steal any secrets. Bye.
Bye. Well, that gives you a rough idea of how they're carrying on in atomic research. But what of the future? Soon, perhaps, interplanetary travel will become an everyday affair, enabling the people from two different worlds to meet in friendship and universal goodwill. Perhaps even in our time, we shall see a flying saucer from another planet land in the very heart of London, its passenger to be greeted with traditional British ceremony.
I'm very sorry, sir. You can't park that here. Now, I want your name and number. I'd like to...
Well, there you are. There'll be another Hornorama next week when the subject will be Coal is the Outlook Black? Also, in next week's programme, we have the Norwegian Fisherfolks Ballet Company in La Vie en Rose on toast. Horace Tindersley performing Seal, and the massed pipes and drums of the Wickhampton Building Society. So, until next week, this is Kenneth Horne saying goodbye for now. And remember, whatever you do, don't gossip about butter knives. You know how those things spread. Goodbye.
been listening to or have just missed Beyond Our Ken, a sort of radio show which gave employment to Kenneth Horne and also to Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddick, Betty Marsden, Ron Moody, Patricia Lancaster, Stanley Unwin, the Malcolm Mitchell Trio, and the BBC Review Orchestra, conducted by Harry Rabinowitz. The script, believe it or not, was written, and letters of complaint should be sent to Eric Merriman and Barry Took. However, the onus must inevitably fall on our producer, Jakes Brown.
You ain't heard nothing yet.
There I was, a-digging his hole in the ground, so big and sort of round it was, and there was I, digging it deep. It was flat at the bottom and the sides were steep. When along comes this bloke in a bowler, which he lifted and scratched his head. Whoa, he looked down the hole, poor demented soul, and he said, do you mind if I make a suggestion? Don't dig it there, dig it elsewhere. You're digging it round and it ought to be square. The shape of it's wrong, it's much too long, and you can't put a hole where a hole don't belong. I ask, what a liberty, eh? Nearly bashed him right in the bowler. Well, there was I, stood in me shoveling earth. For all that I was worth, I was, and there was him, standing up there so grand and official, with his nose in the air. So I gave him a look sort of sideways, and I leaned on me shovel and sighed. Whoa, I lit me a fag, and having took a drag, I replied, I just couldn't bear to dig it elsewhere. I'm digging it round 'cause I don't want it square. And if you disagree, it doesn't bother me. That's the place where the hole's gonna be. Well, there we were discussing this hole in the ground, so big and sort of round it was. It's not there now. The ground's all flat, and beneath it is the bloke in the bowler hat. And that's that.
Now I go cleaning windows to earn an honest bob. For a nosy Parker, it's an interesting job. Now it's a job that just suits me. A window cleaner you would be if you can see what I can see. When I'm cleaning windows, honeymooning couples too, you should see them bill and coo. You'd be surprised at things they do. When I'm cleaning windows in my profession, I'll work hard, but I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get back to the top. The blushing bride, she looks divine. The bridegroom, he is doing fine. I'd rather have his job than mine. When I'm cleaning windows, the chambermaid, sweet names I call. It's a wonder I don't fall. My mind's not on my work at all. When I'm cleaning windows, I know a fella's such a swell. He has a thirst that's plain to tell. I've seen him drink his bath as well. When I'm cleaning windows, oh, in my profession, I'll work hard, but I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get back to the top. Pajamas lying side by side, ladies' nighties I have spied. I've often seen what goes inside when I'm cleaning windows. as a famous talky queen. She looks a flapper on the screen. She's more like 80 than 18. When I'm cleaning windows, she pulls her hair all down behind, then pulls down her never mind, and after that pulls down the blind. When I'm cleaning windows, in my profession I'll work hard, but I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get right to the top. An old maid walks around the floor. She's so fed up one day I'm sure she'll drag me in and lock the door. When I'm cleaning windows, when I'm cleaning windows.
Characteristic of all committee discussions and decisions that every member has a vivid recollection of them, and that every member's recollection of them differs violently from every other member's recollection. Consequently, we accept the convention that the official decisions are those and only those which have been officially recorded in the minutes by the officials, from which it emerges with an elegant inevitability that any decision which has been officially reached will have been officially recorded in the minutes by the officials, and any decision which is not recorded in the minutes has not been officially reached, even if one or more members believe they can recollect it. So in this particular case, if the decision had been officially reached, it would have been officially recorded in the minutes by the officials, and it isn't, so it wasn't.
Told you so.
The Navy Lark is a radio sitcom about life aboard a British Royal Navy frigate named HMS Strankbridge, a Royal Navy destroyer based in Portsmouth. In Series 1, the ship and crew were stationed offshore at an unnamed location known simply as the island. In Series 2, this island was revealed to be owned by Lieutenant Commander Stanton. For most of its run, it starred Leslie Phillips, John Pertwee, and Stephen Murray, whose names rotated in order of precedence every episode over the entire 15-season run. Stephen Murray's daughter Amanda Murray also appeared in a few episodes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present the Navy Lark with our 3 stars, Dennis Price, John Pertwee, and Leslie Phillips. We all have our secrets, but the one our naval draft on the island have is a big one they wish somebody else had kept.
Now then, A, B, D...
Leslie, you missed one out. What about C?
No. C comes after G.
Oh, really, Leslie? Where did you learn your alphabet? China?
No, certainly not. If you must know, I attended Mrs. Pettyweather's College for the Sons of Merchant Milliners.
I didn't know your father made hats.
Oh, we didn't, actually. Mrs. Pettyweather's, as long as your father wore a hat, you were in. Yes. Now, where was I? A, B, D. No, on second thoughts, I think I'll make it A, B, F.
I beg your pardon? Oh, I see. You're doing a newspaper competition.
Yes. You see, you have to judge which of these girls in swimming costumes fills out the best. I mean, you have to fill out which one...
I get the idea. Oh, perhaps this is a newspaper to say you've won.
Do me a favour. I haven't entered yet.
Hello, main office?
This is Commander Bovey. I want to speak to number 1.
Well, I'm not sure if he's in his office, sir. Would you like to speak to Sub-Lieutenant Phillips?
Not much, but put him on.
Leslie, it's Commander Povey.
Lummy, has he won?
Lot. I mean, he's on the telephone.
Oh, I see, yeah. What can I do for you?
This is Commander Povey. Who the devil do you think you're talking to?
BF, sir. No, I mean, Mrs. Pettyweather's nightdress. That is to say, Sub-Lieutenant Clot here, sir.
You're so right. Now try and get this straight and remember it.
Well, it's asking a lot, sir, and I'll do my best.
Thank you. On the launch bringing the mail over, there will be a small wooden crate which you are to place under guard until I get there tomorrow.
It sounds jolly exciting, sir. What's in it? Gin?
No, you dithering dipsomaniac, it is not gin. Their lordships have not informed me exactly what it is, but I gather it is some new and secret type of electronic gun-firing mechanism, And I shall be bringing the expert over with me tomorrow for a demonstration.
Oh, we'll look after it like mad, sir.
You'd better, because if anything happens to it, you'll be in dead trouble for the next 50 years.
Yeah, you know, I'd be much happier if it had been gin.
Goodbye.
Bottoms up, sir. I mean, goodbye, sir.
Oh, that's number one. He must have been in his office all the time.
I wish we'd known that before. Then he could have guarded Povey's nightdress for me. Coming. You buzzed, sir?
Yes, Mr. Phillips, I buzzed. Why is it that whenever I want you, I always have to buzz dozens of times?
Well, I suppose because you can't keep your finger off that beastly thing. I mean, do you, sir? I hadn't noticed.
Oh, then we must arrange for the unit comfort fund to buy you an ear trumpet.
Oh, it's jolly nice of you, sir. But I can't play one, you know. I once had an aunt who was a bassoon player with Sir John...
Mr. Phillips.
He's on the phone, sir. I mean, I've just been on the phone to Commander Povey, and he's coming over tomorrow.
What for?
To demonstrate with a little wooden box. Oh, no.
Is he really? Yes. Well, I shall look forward to it.
I don't think I quite got that right.
I can't remember the time when you ever got anything right.
Frankly, neither can I, though. I'll try again. I know. There's a box with a secret gun-firing mechanism in it coming here today.
I wonder why they're bringing this beastly gadget over here. I mean, why don't they try it out on the mainland?
Oh, perhaps it's too dangerous, sir. Oh. I wish I hadn't thought of that.
So do I.
As I know, yes. When it arrives on the mailboat, couldn't we mark it not known and send it back?
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. And what do we do with Commander Povey and this expert tomorrow? Send them back marked not known as well?
Well, why not, sir? I mean, who wants to know Commander Povey? I mean,
Mr. Phillips, one of these days you'll realise that it's not what you say that matters.
What is it, sir?
Nothing, Mr. Phillips, merely that what you say doesn't matter, so shut up.
Oh.
Now, I'd better let Chief Petty Officer Pertwee know about this.
6 to 4 he knows already, sir.
With CPO Pertwee, Mr. Phillips, you're not armed.
Some people think I've been a bit off for years.
Well, I agree with them wholeheartedly. I want to see the Chief about a new window in here anyway, and also, I understand it's his birthday.
Really, sir? Do you think we ought to give him something?
Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Phillips. Anything Chief Petty Officer Pertwee wanted, he's helped himself too long ago.
Stores here. You can't have nothing without a chit. Good morning.
Here, Chief.
What is it, Johnson?
I gave you a chit yesterday, but you still wouldn't let me have a pair of boots.
Certainly not. Your chit wasn't signed.
Signed who by?
Me.
Oh, that's it then. I should be doing the rest of me service in me socks.
Socks? Socks? How did you come to have socks?
Me mum knitted them.
Your what?
Mum. Knitted them.
Good, then she can knit you a pair of boots as well. Here, also, what's that you've got there?
Oh, it's a letter for you. It smells gorgeous.
Yeah, you get your big schnoz out of my letter. Or your mum will have to knit you a new head to go with your boots.
Here you are, Chief.
Sure.
Oh, it's ashes of roses, Chief.
Is it? Or whatever it was, Rosie burnt it pongs, most elegant.
Ooh. Here, it's a birthday card.
You wouldn't like to read it first, would you?
Yes, please.
Get back, you dog. Look, it's my birthday, not yours.
Many happy returns, then, Chief.
No, Johnson, please. You know I go cold all over when somebody uses the word returns.
Pardon me for living, I'm sure.
Granted, don't let it happen again. Oh, look at this. It's from Sybil.
Who's Sybil?
Who's Sybil? She's a young lady of the opposite sex who has the taste, wit and intelligence to realise that Chief Petty Officer Pertwee is the boy for a bit of refined snogging.
Here, this envelope's got S-W-A-L-K on the back. That means sealed with a loving kiss, isn't it?
No, it doesn't. It means Sybil wants a long cuddle.
You asked me, Sybil wants spelling lessons and all.
Well, I didn't, Johnson, so where are you going before you suddenly got put on fatigue this evening?
I apologise.
Right, then watch it. Oh, so, yeah, that's nice, isn't it?
What?
Look at this, look. Sybil's sending me a musical cigarette box for my birthday. There.
Oh, I never smoked a musical cigarette.
Here, see who that is.
Hello, Ginger.
Is Chiefy Pertwee in?
Maybe. Why?
I got a small wooden crate that was left on jetty with mail, but it's not marked. I thought it must be for the stores.
Wooden crate? Well, then it's not for the stores, Ginger, my son. That's for me.
Here you are. It's heavy.
Oh, I'm not surprised. It's full of musical cigarettes.
Johnson, I hate to shatter your illusions, but there's no such thing as a musical cigarette.
What do they want to make boxes for them?
To give nicks like you employment, that's why.
Well, ta-ra, Tub. I must get back to jetty.
So long, Ginge.
Why don't you take Tub with you and drop him off the end of it?
He'd be a menace to shipping.
There couldn't be a bigger one than he is here. So long, Ginger. Here, come on, give me a hand to get this open, fatso.
I don't want to. You're rotten, you are, Tub. What do you mean, Tub?
I'm also Chief Petty Officer, so pass the flaming hammer. Right, Tub.
So that's your musical box, innit? Not very pretty, is it?
No. I must admit I could have wished for something other than grey paint, Johnson, yeah.
How does it play, you reckon?
I don't know. I suppose you turn this knob.
I don't think I know that tune.
No, neither do I. Blimey, there's a bit spread of it everywhere. Look, bits all over the place.
Sort of flew apart, didn't it?
Yeah, flew is right, Johnson.
Yeah.
Flu's right. A couple of cogs past me
sort of flew apart
through the sound barrier.
Chief, I suppose it was a musical cigarette box.
Well, whatever it was, I know what it is now.
What?
Spare parts.
Ah, there you are, Chief. I thought I heard an odd noise as I came up the path.
Yes, sir. Able Seaman Johnson's got squeaky socks. I'm in boots.
Then you'd better get a new pair, Johnson.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Get the Chief to sign a chit for you.
Oh, blimey. Keep knitting, Mum.
Chief, may I wish you many happy recurrences of the day?
Oh, thank you, sir. Very kind and suggestive of you, I'm sure.
And now, may I ask when you're likely to be putting the new window in my office?
New window, is it?
Mm-hmm.
A new window? Well, yes, new window, sir. Yes, I've got it on my list, sir. I'll get around to it any day now, sir.
I have news for you, Chief. You'll get around to it today.
Oh, I see. Well, by all means, sir. By all means. But, well, look, sir, with all due respect, sir, I don't think that new window's a good idea at all, sir.
Why not?
Well, you won't like the view, sir.
That's precisely what I will like, Chief. I shall be able to see the stores 24 hours a day.
Lovely, sir. Lovely. Yeah. You're quite sure you wouldn't like it on the other wall, sir? I mean, it wouldn't take a minute knock a hole through the wall.
No, Chief, I want it on the wall facing the stores, and I want it today.
Oh, I see. I see. So may I take this opportunity of making an application for a draft elsewhere, is it? Anywhere'll do, so long as there isn't a window facing this door.
No, you cannot.
Blimey, Big Brother's watching Pertwee, all right. Look, wait a minute. Look, I know, sir. How about a nice sunblind, sir? I've got just the article in the stores. It'll reach from the top of your office right to the
No
bottom.
sunblinds, thank you.
Frosted glass?
No.
Oh.
Have you finished wriggling, Chief?
Just a minute, sir. I've got it.
Well?
Can I have permission to move the store, sir?
No, you cannot.
Thank you, sir. I've finished wriggling.
Oh, good. Well, now, there is one other thing. Commander Povey will be here with a missile expert tomorrow.
Yes, sir. What's a missiles expert? What's he going to do, sir? Launch Commander Povey into outer space?
Most unfortunately, no. However, there's a small wooden crate arriving with the mail launch today, and,
A small wooden crate?
Yes, Chief. I gather it contains some new secret gun-firing mechanism.
Here, Chief.
What?
I reckon that crate we undid wasn't Sybil's present at all. It must have been this secret...
Don't up! Well, I'll leave it to you, Chief. Don't forget my window, will you?
No, sir, no, I won't forget the window, sir.
Grand morning, isn't it?
Grand morning, isn't it? It's going to be a right busy perisher, if you ask me.
You going to fix the window, then?
Never mind the flaming window, Johnson. We've got to put this secret gun-me-fire together again before tomorrow. We'll probably both get done for sabotage.
But I don't know anything about gun-me-firers, Chief.
You will by tomorrow morning, Johnson. You'll know them intimately. So start picking the bits up. Look, there's a cog over there. Oh, yes, and a spring went that way.
A, B, G... No. N, B, G...
Leslie, you're not still going on with that competition, surely?
Oh, no, Heather. This is a different one.
Oh, I see. What's the prize for this one?
Oh, just a minute. I'll have a look. Oh.
Well?
A week's holiday in Portsmouth, including the tour of the dockyard.
That'll be a nice change for you. Why don't you look at the rules first?
Well, it's a bit difficult, actually.
Difficult? Didn't you learn to read long words at Mrs. Pettyweather's?
Oh, of course. We had to read Pettyweather for a start.
Well, then what's difficult about reading those rules?
Getting the old eyeballs past those pictures of girls in swimming costumes.
Well, I hate to drag you away from them, but don't forget Commander Povey's coming over this morning.
Oh, that's all right. I found his wooden crate on the jetty yesterday, and I've locked it up in the safe.
Good boy.
Yes, I think I'd better have a quick look in the safe to see if it's still there all right.
Well, go ahead.
Yes, just to be on the... Heather?
Mm-hmm.
What's the combination of the safe?
I don't know.
Neither do I. I've forgotten.
Oh, Leslie, really?
Good morning, Mr. Phillips. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, sir.
Is Commander Povey's little wooden crate safe, Mr. Phillips?
Oh, completely, sir. Nobody can get at it.
Splendid.
Oh, not really, sir. It's in the safe. And I've ever so slightly completely forgotten the combination, sir.
What?
We can't get in, sir.
Nonsense, of course you can.
How, sir?
Well, if you must know, I forgot the combination once, and C.P.O. Pertwee's fixed it, so you only have to kick it and the door flies open.
Does it really, sir? Oh, 1, 2...
What's the matter?
I forgot I'd only got my creepers on, sir. Oh, my foot. Oh, I've killed it.
Well, never mind, Mr. Phillips. The safe's open and the crate's still there.
Well, chop it up and make me a crutch, will you?
I'll take it, Heather. Hello, number 1 here.
A jetty guard here, sir. Pompey launch approaching. Shall I start gunnery practice in their direction?
No, not this time, Goldstein. We were expecting them.
Aye, sir.
Well, I'll tend to everything at once. Well, the launch has been sighted.
Oh, lummy, I hope this secret thingamabob, whatever it is, works properly.
Why, Mr. Phillips?
Well, then we'll be able to blast old Thunder...
Office would be able to see it a lot earlier. Dear Pertwee, you put...
You got it all wrong, Chief.
I beg your very, very pardon, Johnson. Pertwees have never got it all wrong. They've just got it all, whatever it is.
But the book says... The left-handed vindensicator slides the floggle toggle in a semicircular motion towards the beltograph.
I see. Well, let that be a lesson to you, my son.
What?
Never believe everything you read.
Well, we'll never get this blooming thing together again, I know that.
No, and it's all your fault, Johnson.
Yes, I thought it would be.
Look, you've had all night to put it together and it's still in bits.
Well, I can't fathom it out.
Look, I bought you a book on nuclear fission-me-fine, didn't I?
Yes?
Well, there you are, then.
I'll try again, but my head's going round and round with all this technical jargon. I can't take it all in.
Well, I don't see why. I mean, let's face it, Johnson. With what's in your head, it's not exactly crowded in there, is it?
Hey, just a minute. Hold the floggle toggle.
Say, please.
Oh, quick, hold it.
All right, give it here, then.
Now then, if this bit goes on top, where's the lid?
Here.
Here, got it? There you are. It's on.
Well done, Johnson. Only it's not quite right.
Not quite right? What's wrong with it?
Nothing much. Just that I've still got my flaming hand inside it.
Oh, so you have. You should have let go, shouldn't you?
I'll let one go at you. Right between your perishing eyes, that's what I'll do. Now, come on, open it up again.
All right. Easy does it now. Bit more. Now. That's done it.
Well, it's all in one piece. The point is, does it work?
What, the box?
No, my hand, you nit. We'll find out whether that perishing gunfighter works when old Thunderguts gets here.
Decided to use this island to test the gun-firing mechanism, I nearly had a fit.
So did we, sir.
Exactly why was this island selected for the test, sir?
Merely safety precautions, number one. For all we know, the confounded thing may blow us all to smithereens. And however, the professor here assures me there's no danger whatsoever. Don't you, Professor?
Do I?
Oh, yes, do. Please.
Oh, well, if you say so, I suppose it'll be all right. I'd rather have had a few more weeks to work on it myself before rushing this test through.
Say that you haven't perfected the thing yet?
Oh, good gracious, no. This is just a prototype I've slung together in my garage.
Oh, you shouldn't have bothered.
Blew the roof off my garage a couple of times.
You never told me anything about this.
Well, it wasn't worth mentioning.
Not worth mentioning?
No, only went up a couple of feet at the most.
I'm terribly glad I'm not your next-door neighbour.
Well, you could be, you know. House next door is empty, has been for years.
Oh, how strange.
Yes, the last people left in a devil of a hurry, too, I remember.
Which way do they go? Out or up?
Through the spare bedroom, I think.
Well, I suppose we'd better get this test over.
Well, there's no hurry, is there? I mean, couldn't we wait a year or two?
A year or two? Why?
Oh, nothing, sir. By then, he'll have either got it right or gone up with his garage.
Exactly what form is this test going to take, sir?
Well, the professor knows more about that than I do. He's the expert.
Yes, ask his next-door neighbour.
Be quiet, Mr. Phillips.
Oh, it's quite simple. All we have to do is to attach my mechanism to your saw guns, take aim at a target out to sea, press the switch, and
we all go up through the bedroom.
Mr. Phillips.
Oh, he went that way.
Come on, all of you. We've wasted enough time already. I'm in a hurry to get back to Portsmouth.
If this thing goes wrong, sir, you'll be there quicker than you expect. By air.
Stop him panicking, number one, and let's get down to the guns.
If you insist, sir, bring the crate, will you, Mr. Phillips?
I'd rather not, sir. You know what a butterfingers I am.
Then you can walk 100 yards in front of us. Any last words at all?
Yes, sir. I don't want to do it.
Oh, come on, let's get down to those confounded guns.
Chief, I've got a nasty feeling I never put that floggle-toggle in the right place.
Look, if you touch that thing again, I'll floggle-toggle you.
Ah, but Chief...
It's all in one piece, Johnson, and I want it to stay that way. Now leave it alone for heaven's sake.
Well, it'll never work if that floggle-toggle's in the wrong place.
Look, will you wrap up about your floggle-toggle?
Well, it's in the wrong place.
All right. So it's in the wrong place. Look, I'll tell you what, look. I'll take full responsibility for it. That's what I'll do. I'll take full... No, are you satisfied?
No. What's the good of a floggle-toggle if it's in the wrong place?
Johnson! Look, until I bought you that book yesterday, you didn't even know what a floggle-toggle was.
I don't know what it is now.
Well, then.
I know it's in the wrong place.
Don't tell! Now, look, shut up about the floggle-toggle. I've got work to do.
Here, you going to put that new window in number one's office?
Not yet, Johnson. No, not yet. I've got another little job to do first.
What?
Put a back door in these stores. Let number one watch that if he can.
Here, look, Chief.
Well, what is it?
I can see him all going up to the guns.
Hey?
Mr. Phillips got that wooden crate under his arm.
Oh, blimey, he's got the wrong box. I'd better get this one up to him straight away.
Oh, I just remembered. I'm supposed to have towed a target out for them to shoot at.
Yeah, you daft nit. You better get that target out there quick, or Commanded Povey will not only do his nut, he'll do you.
Right.
Fancy forgetting the target.
Oh, I was thinking about that floggle-toggle being in the wrong place.
Never mind, your floggle-toggle.
Wow, it's very...
Just you floggle off. I'll hang on for 5 minutes and then take this crate up to him then.
All right, but I'm telling you, it's in the wrong place.
All right, all right.
Where do you want this crate, Professor?
Oh, just drop it anywhere.
No, don't you dare, Mr. Phillips.
And don't you worry, sir. I'll put it down as if it were made of glass. Oh, lummy, it slipped.
Yes, we had noticed it.
Is that the target out there, number one? That round balloon thing in the boat?
No, sir, that's Able Seaman Johnson. The target's a bit further out.
Jolly good. I'll just connect my mechanism to your gun and we'll take a pot shot at it, shall we?
I've got a better idea, actually. Let's connect the target to the gun and take a pot at your mechanism.
I'll just connect this lead to the gun. Open up the crate, somebody.
I'll do that.
Good lad. You'll find a knob on it and you can put the other end of this lead on it. Shan't be a minute.
Careful, sir, careful.
I didn't know you cared, number one. Now, here's the knob, but I'm dashed if I see if how this fits on.
Well, I imagine you just turn it like this, sir. Yes, that's got it. All right, your end, Professor?
Yes. When I count 3, press the lever.
Oh, yes. You can have that on, Mr. Phillips.
1.
No, thanks, sir. After you.
2.
No, after you, Mr. Phillips.
3.
Oh, for goodness sake, I'll push it. Take cover. What the blazes?
And I
very quaint.
shine right to the finish. And put by the sailor man.
It's a confounded musical box. Someone must have stolen the firing mechanism and substituted this thing. They get the police at once.
No, I don't get it, necessarily, sir. C.P.O. Pertwee's bearing down on us at a fine turn of speed, and he appears to be carrying a small crate.
What? Oh, so he is.
Chief Petty Officer Pertwee reporting, sir. Excuse me, sir. I think we ought to play swap, sir.
What, you mean you want me to be C.P.O. Pertwee and you to be Sub-Lieutenant Phillips?
No, not really likely, sir. Not in a million years. Thanks all the same. I mean, this is your crate, sir, and that must be mine.
Very probably, Chief.
I trust this crate hasn't been tampered with.
Tampered with? Certainly not, sir. Mind you, it hasn't half been got at.
Got at? Well, we'll look into that later. Connect up, Professor.
Right.
And now we'll see whether it works or not.
Right, sir. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll get back...
No, stand fast, Chief.
Yes, I'd rather not, sir.
You may as well watch this test as well. You might learn something.
Yeah, I haven't got an inquiring mind, sir. I'd be much happier getting on with your window,
yeah,
sir.
Well, you can do that afterwards, Chief.
Yes, sir, if I'm still here, with pleasure, sir.
Are you all right, Chief? You don't look too good.
No, I'm not, sir. I may be suffering from a misplaced floggle-toggle, sir.
Oh, how nasty. I had an aunt who suffered from that.
Really, sir? Very uncomfortable for her.
She got it playing her bassoon.
Did she, sir? That's very interesting.
Will you be quiet, you two? I think the Professor's ready.
Right, well, perhaps we could go and talk about your auntie suffering elsewhere.
Yeah, what a good idea. Let's go to Scotland.
Good idea, sir.
Mr. Phillips, Chief, stay where you are.
It's all set. I fed the trajectory and distance into the firing mechanism, so all we've got to do now is press the switch and it can't miss.
Carry on.
Right.
Caps off. This is it, lads.
By Jove, it works. Gun barrels coming up.
Swinging round 10 degrees.
45 degrees.
That's too far.
It's pointing this way. Everybody down! Blimey! It's gone smack bang through number one's office.
Oh, what a shame.
Well, Professor, have you anything to say?
Yes. The floggle-toggle must be in the wrong place.
Yes, that's what I kept telling Johnson, sir.
Good grief. The thing's a complete and utter failure, and he burbles about floggle-toggles as if nothing had happened.
No, I wouldn't say it was a complete failure, would you, Chief?
Wouldn't I say?
No, Chief. You see where that shell went through my office?
Very clearly, sir, yes.
Yes, good. Now, all you want is a piece of glass the same size as the hole, because that's exactly where I want my window.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't advise it, sir. I mean, there's drafts and wind to think about, sir.
Get glazing, Chief, or the Professor may want to know who's been fiddling with his floggle-toggle.
Aye, aye, sir.
Splendid, splendid. Now, back to the wardroom, I think, gentlemen. Grand morning, isn't it?
That was Dennis Price, John Pertwee and Leslie Phillips working their passage in the Navy Lark, written by Laurie Wyman. Dennis Price was the number one, John Pertwee was the chief petty officer, Leslie Phillips was the sub-lieutenant. Commander Povey was played by Richard Caldecott, the Professor was Michael Bates, Heather was Heather Chasen, Abel Seaman Johnston was Ronnie Burker, and Taffy was played by Tenniel Evans. The recorded production was by Alistair Scott Johnston.
Young man with a trembling word rang loud and clear.
What am I doing here? Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Mr. Custer, please don't make me go. I had a dream last night about the coming fight. Somebody yelled attack, and there I stood with an arrow in my back. Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Look at them bushes out there. They're moving. There's an Indian behind every one of them. Mr. Custer, may I be excused for the rest of the afternoon, please? Want to change my library book. Oi, Wyatt, duck your head! Oh, bit late on that one, son. God, I bet that don't half hurt.
They were sure of victory, the men of the 7th Cavalry, as they rode on. When from the rear a voice was heard, that same brave voice with a trembling word rang loud and clear.
What am I doing here? Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Listen, Mr. Custer, please don't make me go. There's a redskin waiting out there, waiting to cut my hair. A coward I've been called, but I don't want to wind up dead or bald. Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Now let's see, what's the Indian word for friend? Oh, yes, I know. Manana, yes, that's it, man. Oh, you lot out there. Manana. Ooh. No, that ain't it. Look at them out there. Running around like a bunch of wild Indians. Bunch of wild Indians. No, this is no time for joking. Oh! 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 Help! Mr. Custer! Oh, oh my God.
Now I'm a jack of all trades, as busy as a bee. Should anything need fixing, just get in touch with me. If your water cistern's frozen or the baby's face turns blue, ring me on the telephone, 'cause I know what to do. They call me Andy, George Andy, Andy the handyman. My job is dandy, dandy. I do the best I can. I'm always at your service. You may depend, and don't forget, it's never too late to mend. As an artist I draw faces, my profiles are divine. But when it comes to figures, that's where I'm not so fine. A girl told me last night I didn't know where to draw the line. Oh, it comes in handy being a handyman. Now in the park one morning, a bulldog I did see. I fairly stood and shivered when he came and sniffed at me. I didn't even move when it mistook me for a tree. Ho, he comes in handy, being a handyman. They call me Andy, George Andy, Andy the handyman. My job is dandy, dandy. I do the best I can. I'm always at your service. You may depend, and don't forget it's never too late to mend. A baby once was christened. The parson said, well, well, he isn't like his mother or his father, you can tell. Who does the child remind you of? And the choir began to yell, oh, he comes in handy, being a handyman. A girl gave me a gold watch. I said it's rather light. It's got no works inside it. Now surely that's not right. She said, now don't you worry, I'll give you the works tonight. Oh, I come in handy, being a handyman.
The Men from the Ministry is a British radio comedy series broadcast by the BBC between 1962 and 1977, starring Wilfred Hyde-White, Richard Murdoch and, from 1966, when he replaced Hyde-White, Derek Gaiters. Written and produced by Edward Taylor with contributions from John Graham, and with some early episodes written by Johnny Mortimer and Brian Cook, it ran for 13 series, totaling 145 half-hour episodes and 2 specials.
Time now to meet the Men from the Ministry. We present Wilfred Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch in The Men from the Ministry, a weekly tribute to those who steer the frail craft of government up the muddy waters of modern life. Without hesitation, without fear, and often without a paddle. The General Assistance Department in Whitehall is accustomed to tackling a wide variety of questions. Anything may come their way, from routine clerical tasks to a complex aviation problem.
Now then, too, have we taken into account the question of aerodynamics, wingspan, and lifting power, do you think?
Yes, one. The wind velocity is almost nil, and the basic simplicity of design should ensure a trouble-free flight.
Good, then we're all set. Let her go.
Right, here we are. There. Oh, yes. That's a splendid paper dart. See, smooth as a bird.
Capital, capital. I told you that paper clip on the nose would make all the difference. Now, wait a moment. Oh, look, do I detect some tailspin?
Yes, it's wobbling. It's nosedived into the wastepaper basket.
Oh.
Ah, well, so much for that one.
Best place for it, right. That's 7 seconds for the Ministry of Labour form. How do we stand now?
Well, the Ministry of Transport's leading.
Is it?
Their heavy pink traffic survey stayed airborne for a full 10 seconds.
Ah, excellent. What about that rather lightweight Foreign Office form? How did that do?
Difficult to say. That one swerved off course and went out through the window.
Oh, well, I blame that red sticker on it. Top secret, I think it said. Spoilt the balance, you know.
Ah, Mildred, you're back. I say, your eye looks a little bit red.
Yeah, I was just coming down Whitehall and a flipping great paper dart caught me on the eyeball. Some idiot must have thrown it out the window.
Oh, yes, quite. What's that you've brought in?
It's the staff magazine, sir. You said you wanted it as soon as it arrived.
Oh, marvellous. It may have my article in it. Here's your copy one. Thank you, Mildred.
Flipping twits, whoever they are, flinging paper darts around like 3-year-olds.
This should be a good issue of the staff magazine, too. I've done a little piece for them myself, you know.
Yes, you told me. Several times.
Oh, did I? Yes. Well, now, Smetherby at the Board of Trade, he's the editor, of course. He begged me to write a piece about the duties of a senior civil servant. Nobody could write it like you, he said. H.J. Capable fellow Smetherby.
Ah, Smetherby.
Always thought so,
yes,
yeah.
Smetherby.
Capable fellow.
Yes. Well, I must confess, I only dashed off a few quick notes on the bus.
Really? Did that how you did it? I spent a bit of time on my piece, got quite involved in, as a matter of fact. Nearly missed my coffee break.
They have used my thing. Look, page 6.
Let me see.
Yes,
Yes, and page 7.
Yes.
My holiday in Ostend by our lamb. What's this, continued next month?
Well, who'd have thought it?
I can't seem to find my bit.
Now, let's have a look. Yes. Cooking a pheasant in brandy by P. Smith of the Pensions and National Assistance Board. Readers' letters, gardening notes.
A good year for leaks by Brown of the Admiralty. No, that's not it.
Crossword, retirements. Oh, this must be your piece here. At the bottom of page 29. In between Kiddy's Corner and Just a Moment.
What?
4.5 lines.
Good heavens, that fellow Smetherby wants his head seeing to. Just a moment, indeed. Hello?
Pitkin here.
Ah, Sir Gregory, how nice of you to call. We were just talking about
Never
you.
mind that. Now, what are you two chaps working on, eh?
What are we two chaps working on? Well, what are we... I must admit there's not a lot actually on at the moment, you know. We've lots of things in the air. Oh, dear, that's good. Yes, lots of things in the air.
Have you sorted out that records room yet?
Records room? Oh, the room where they keep the records. Yes, of course. No, I was just about to send somebody...
Never mind sending anybody. Get down there yourself. That records room is an absolute disgrace. Stuffed to the ceiling with mildewed old papers. Sort the lot out, will you?
Yeah.
Find out what's useless and what's not, and throw the useless ones away.
Yes, but surely, Sir Gregory, you don't expect me to do that.
Well, of course I expect you to do it. Right. Get on with it.
Right, Sir Gregory, and do give my kindest regards to Lady Pitt. Oh, good heavens, he's gone. We really must get this faulty line fixed, too. Keeps cutting people off.
What did he want?
Oh, some business about the records room. He wants you to go and tidy it up.
Isn't it about time for lunch? Oh, dear, it's Monday. That means the staff canteen has shepherd's pie.
I thought there'd been complaints about the shepherd's pie.
Yes, the catering committee went down and tasted it.
What happened?
They brought it up at the next meeting. Still, nothing's been done about it.
Well, I shall be lunching at my club, as usual. But first of all, we better look at this records room, as Sir Gregory is so anxious about it.
Oh, all right.
My word, these old records have piled up, haven't they? I shouldn't think anyone's tidied through this lot for years.
Here's one, for instance. It's all about a deadly new weapon.
Oh?
Yes, the Maxim automatic machine gun. According to this, it's all up with the Kaiser once it goes into service. The report's stamped highly confidential.
Isn't that typical? Makes a laughing stock of our security, that sort of thing. Highly confidential indeed.
Yes, I'm ridiculous.
Should be top secret. Now, listen. Put it on one side and we'll change the classification later. Now, let's have a look round the back. That's where the really old files are.
Oh, they're all thick with dust.
Thick with dust.
Should have been thrown out years ago. I say, this one's really old, dating from 1588.
1588? That's a good gracious, the reign of the first Queen Elizabeth.
Yes, look at this. Records of ye General Fifteenth Department. I wonder what sort of work the department did in those days.
Let me see, it's rather hard to read this writing, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yes. Seems they helped out any other section of the service that was overloaded, just as we do.
Yeah, can I see?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Ye Lord Chamberlain hath charged us that we do act as censors for all plays, mummings, and bawdy entertainments. To see that nothing doth offend the ear of the Queen's subjects.
Extraordinary thing. I wonder what sort of men they were in the office in those days. Very different from us, I should imagine.
Oh, sure to be. It's hard to picture them, isn't it? Just listen to this item here. Monday, ye 9th of January, 1588. Verily, ye department hath a deal of work to cope with.
Odds bodkins, too. Verily, ye department hath a deal of work to cope with. We must get rid of some of it. take your quill and write past to you on all these parchments, will you?
We'll let Sir Francis Bacon's office handle them. What's the date today? Ah, yes, 9th of January, 1588.
I'm not really in the mood for work. My young daughter's had friends in at the weekend. Quite exhausted me.
High-spirited, are they?
Dreadful. It's green sleeves on the lute and clavichord from morning till night.
Ah, yes. I blame these groups of strolling players from the north.
Yes.
They started it.
By the way, of course they did. Listen, has the staff broadsheet been delivered yet?
Yes, and they've given my little contribution quite a splash. Look, pages 7 to 12.
Oh, yes. Walks in Wessex with compass and spyglass. Very interesting, I'm sure. I can't seem to find the piece I wrote for them, though.
Oh, yes, here it is, down in the corner, under that new feature they've started, Just a Moment, it's called. I wonder if it'll last. Oh, I say, this one's rather good.
Thank you.
No, not your bit. I mean,
what?
Just a moment. It seems a dancing bear went into a tavern one day and ordered a flagon of ale. And the man behind the counter...
Never mind that. Never mind the man behind. Let's get back to work. We've got a lot to get through before lunch.
Oh, dear, lunch. Oh, and it's Monday. That means the staff refectory has shepherd's pie. Always shepherd's pie on Monday. Still, they've promised to change it soon.
Yes, well, I think I'll have lunch at my guild, as usual. Probably start with starling tongue pie and whole hog in apple sauce. 15 courses should be enough. I'm not very hungry today.
Anyway, we'd better get on with these plays. 2 of the playwrights are coming in today, and we've promised that their stuff will be censored by now.
Playwrights, yes. What were their names again? They're in the diary.
Yes, let me see. John Grumdingle and William Shakespeare. Can't say I've heard of them.
Well, you should have. Mark my words, there's one of our most promising playwrights. Yes, the name of John Grumdingle will go down in history. Don't think much of the other fellow, though.
You mean William Shakespeare?
Yes, I think that's his name. Every time he writes to us, he spells his name differently. Shakespeare, Shaxpeare, Shoxpeare. If you ask me, he's trying to work some kind of tax fiddle.
Ah, Mildred.
I got your glasses of Malmsey wine, sir.
Good heavens, is it Malmsey wine break already? Any sign of that playwright, fellow?
Oh, no, not yet. It's ever so exciting, isn't it? William Shakespeare coming to visit us. Here, I wonder what he looks like.
Good morrow, gentlemen.
Good morrow.
May this our meeting lead to friendship fair, with sweet communion wafting on the air, and he that doth not call this day...
Oh, it's him! Oh, wait till I tell my Bernard I met you. Here, we saw your last play. 15 stabbings and a ghost. Oh, it was lovely.
That'll do, Mildred. Off you go.
Oh, all right, sir. Oh, dear. I better go and wash me wimple.
God's fish, a buxom wench.
Yes, I wish you wouldn't wear those tight dresses, though. It does interfere with my breathing.
Now, would you like to take a seat, sir? What about this play of yours?
Aye. What think you on it, eh? Is it well writ?
Is it well writ? Well, our concern is not with the merit of the play, only the censorship. And regarding censorship,
Leave that for a moment, sire. We'll come to that. First, tell me how liked you the play as a play.
Well, I don't think we want to go into that now.
Come, sir, come. I'm eager to learn. The frank opinion of a reader shall most helpful be.
Well, it's very promising, but perhaps there are 1 or 2 points that are not quite perfect.
Not quite perfect? Insolent blackguard! When I want your opinion, I'll ask for it.
Now, sir, steady, please. My number 2 here's an author himself, you know.
Never mind that, sire. How dare you insult my work?
Well, we were only trying to be... I mean, you said that...
Know you who I am, sir? By Jupiter, you'll pay for this!
Now, look here. If you playwrights knew how to learn from criticism, they wouldn't be pulling down all the theatres and turning them into bowling greens, you know.
Or putting up all these shapeless new Tudor buildings.
Oh, quite right.
My Drake's beard, I'll take this from no man.
That'll do, sir. I'm the official censor.
You, sir, are a poltroon.
And you, sir, are a scallywag.
I won't have that from no
man.
man.
You will have it. Get out of this office.
Oh.
Now, hold your head up, too. That'll stop your nose bleeding.
Oh, but it's...
Rascally knave. Couldn't take criticism. Fancy having the audacity to aim a blow at me. Lucky I ducked.
Yeah, lucky. Unlucky I was standing behind you.
Is your nose still bleeding?
Yeah.
Only one thing for it. I'll slip this key down your back. That'll do the trick. Now, I'm going to make out a warrant for the arrest of that fellow Shakespeare. Have to learn he can't go around thumping members of Her Majesty's civil service.
Quite right, Mum.
Now then, warrant. Where's the key of the parchment cupboard, I wonder?
Oh, it's down the back of my doublet.
Oh, yes.
Just a moment.
Down your doublet?
Yes, you...
What on earth are you doing now, city place? I haven't get it out. Now write this warrant. Then Mildred can take it straight round to the magistrate's court.
Right.
Good morrow, Mildred.
Oh, Bernard! Here, fancy seeing you.
Doing a bit of shopping. I'm after one of them new short Italian doublets. Very sharp, with the 2-inch rough and drainpipe hose. Here, what are you doing out of the office, love?
Well, me master sent me round to the magistrates to get a warrant sworn. We had a right ding-dong in the office this morn.
Go on.
Well, that playwright Shakespeare come in, see, and had a row with Master Richard over his new play. And being a writer, he has this lovely way of speaking. The quality of mercy is not strained, he said. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. Then he give him a punch up the bracket.
Oh, that's what your father will do to me and all if he catches us talking.
Yeah, especially after last night. Dad says if he ever saw you hanging round our house again, he'd take it up with his club.
Which club's that, Mildred?
The big knobbly one. Here, Bernard, look, I must go. They're having a busy morning at the office. First censoring the plays, and then they've got to sort out some new import licenses.
Now then to these import licenses. I gather that fellow Raleigh's brought back some new stuff from the Americas.
Yes, we've got the samples here. There's something called potato and something called tobacco.
Tobacco, what a funny name. Still, I've heard a bit about it. Have you tried it yet?
Well, yes, I couldn't resist it. I put a bit in this pipe thing this morning and kept on inhaling. I thought it was rather dull.
What was it? Did it light easily?
Light. Oh, you mean you have to... Oh, I see.
Yeah. Take a light from the fireplace.
Yes, all right.
That's the idea. That's it. Now then, puff at it. What's it like?
Oh, it's terrible. Oh, this'll never catch on.
Smells delicious. Let me see. Oh, dear, oh, dear. You filled the thing with bits of potato. This is the tobacco.
Oh, well. I wasn't to know, was I?
No, never mind.
They
Tell
should
you
have
what.
said.
Yes, they should indeed. Tell you what we'll do. Just for one. We'll put a little tax on the tobacco, shall we? Say a groat an ounce. Purely as a temporary measure, of course.
Oh, yes, purely a temporary measure, yes.
What the devil's going on? What are you two up? Stap me codpiece. The place is full of smoke.
Oh, good morning, Sir Gregory. How nice of you to call. Don't worry about all this smother. My number 2's been smoking some potato.
Has it? Now, listen, this is important. I've just had Sir Francis Bacon onto me.
Ooh, the Lord High Chamberlain. Good gracious.
Exactly. One of the most powerful men in the country. He said you have an appointment with some playwright fellow, Shakespeare or something's his name.
Shakespeare.
Yes,
he's already...
yes, that's the name. Yes, well, it's most essential that Shakespeare is not upset in any way. Sir Francis says he has a big future. He's a favourite at the court. He's to write a play for the Queen.
Oh, dear.
Well, you must give Shakespeare every cooperation. See that he's kept happy.
Kept happy, did you say?
Yes, otherwise you'll get on the wrong side of Sir Francis.
Oh.
Yes, like poor old Tilsley did.
Oh, yes, poor old Tilsley.
Still, they say he went to the block like a man.
Like a man, did he? Oh, yes.
Yes. Well, very, very good little execution, so I'm told. Yeah. Well, we need that sort of thing, don't we? I mean, to get the audiences back.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes. Well, remember what I've told you, when this fellow... Spear Shake comes in.
Yes, Sir Gregory. Now, do give my regards to Lady Pitt. Oh, he's gone. Too, we really must get that faulty door fixed. It keeps slamming shut.
But never mind the door, man. What about Shakespeare? Mustn't be upset, he said. We've already had a flaming row with him.
Now, too, don't lose your head.
Yeah, but I don't want to. What about Johnson?
It's just a question of finding Shakespeare, having a chat with Shakespeare, apologise to Shakespeare for your rudeness, and then we'll smooth things over.
But where can we find him?
Where can we find writers? Only one place, in the tavern, of course.
Excuse me, sir, there's a man to see you. Another playwright.
Another playwright?
Yeah.
Yes, there were 2 coming in today, weren't there? This'll be that other chap, Grumbling.
Oh, yes, well, we can't bother about him. Tell him we had to go out, Mildred. You must wait till we get back. Will you tell him that?
And I got your warrant sworn at the courthouse, sir. They're sending out a constable straight away.
Good. Warrant? Oh, good gracious, the warrant for Shakespeare. What? Quick, let's get over to the tavern before they arrest the fellow. keep your eyes open, too. This is the writer's favourite tavern. Shakespeare's bound to be here somewhere.
I don't very often come to these places. All this pushing and jostling and... Oh, I say, my good fellow, what you're doing with that tray? You're spilling your drinks all over me.
I'm spilling what, sir?
Your drinks on me.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'll have a goblet of sack.
No, you misunderstand, my good man.
Are you making sport with an honest working man?
Oh.
You're asking for a thump in the nose.
Oh, for heaven's sake, too, don't get a thump. But pay for his wine. Look, there's our man over there sitting at the bar with drinks all round.
Sitting with what?
Yeah, drinks all round.
Oh, thank you, sir. I'll have another goblet of sack. I'll tell the barmaid you're paying.
Tell him about... What?
Let's get over to the bar while we've still got some money left.
Yes, well, we have to use a bit of cunning here, to persuade him to forget this morning's little episode, and we'll get him writing again.
I think, couldn't we treat him to a few, buy him a couple of... get him slightly...
Get him drunk? What a disgusting suggestion. Yes, we'll do it. My dear fellow. There we are.
What?
Yes.
Oh, my friends from the censors. My very good friends.
Eh?
Yes. I've been thinking. I see now you were right. My plays are without merit. I shall give up writing for good.
Excellent. Wait a minute. No. That's not the idea at all.
My mind's made up. I've finished with playwriting. I shall join the Navy to fight for my country. Rumour has it that the King of Spain is sending an armada against us.
Armada? What absolute nonsense. You don't think Sir Francis Drake would go bowling? There's any chance of that, do you? Oh, you take my word for it.
Yeah, serving wench, 3 tankards of rough cider.
3 tankards of rough, that'll be half a groat.
Half a groat?
And 4 groats for the 2 goblets of sack.
What?
That you brought for Walter, the champion bull wrestler of southeast England.
Oh, good heavens. Here you are, then.
Well, my good fellow, here's to your future. May all your plays be successful.
Nay, I've decided. I've finished with all that.
Oh, yeah, we'll see about that. Are your glasses empty, wench? More cider all round. That is just the 3 of us, I think we've got him going one. A few more tankards and he'll be putty in our hands.
Absolutely. Now, sir, tell us about these plays.
Well, nobody knows who's guilty. And then in the final soliloquy, the manservant confesses that he did it after all.
The manservant did it? What a splendid twist. Oh, yes, we can't let a talent like yours be weighted, can we, Two?
Was that who? Did I tell you about the dancing bear that went into a tavern and drank 2 flagons of ale, you see? And the host said... let me see, he said, we don't get many dancing bears drinking ale in here.
And the bear said, I'm not surprised at 6 groats a flagon. An excellent jest. I've always thought so.
By Jove, sir, what a quick wit you have. 6 groats a flagon, by Jove.
You see, this bear says... you heard it.
Yes, I should go a bit easy on the cider if you're not used to it, too. Now, as I was saying, what was I talking about? Yes, of course. It would be a crime to rob the stage of your talents, my boy.
Well, if you put it like that, I suppose I am rather good. Perhaps on second thoughts.
Good man.
Yes, perhaps I was too hasty this morning.
Not at all my fault entirely. I shouldn't have been so sharp with you. Pressure of work,
I'm going to sit myself down and write the finest play you've ever seen, for my name isn't John Grumdingle.
John Grumdingle?
That's right. Molly, fetch me quill and parchment.
Good grief, then, if you're John Grumdingle, that means you're not William Shakespeare. Where now? Oh, the other playwright. The fellow's waiting outside my office. Come along, too. We've got to get back at once.
Hey, what's that?
Never mind. I can't wait to explain. I must get back to the office.
Hey, what's that?
Why is he hurrying off? Well, at least you'll share another flagon with me while I compose my masterpiece.
Well, if you'll positively insult, sir.
Good. Now, let me see. What rhymes with mother?
Mother, yes. What about another?
Oh, thank you, sir. I'll have another goblet of sack.
It's you again, is it? Oh, very well. I must be going soon. They'll need me back at the office.
Oh, so it's you that's Will Shakespeare.
Oh, now speak us truth, my dear.
Here, there's not been a bit of a mistake. Oh, still, me masters will be back in a minute. I am sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, it mattereth not, wench. Pray tell me about yourself and this your loving swain. If faith, I find it most fascinating.
Well, you see, like I said, I met Bernard, you see, and I could tell he fancied me right away. Oh, ever so romantic he is. He did the Sir Walter Raleigh bit with the cloak.
Oh, you mean say he placed it over a puddle?
Yeah, and then he walked over it. Didn't half make me cloak dirty, though.
I see, yeah. So it was love at first sight, was it?
Yeah, but you see, the only trouble was his family and my family ate the sight of each other.
Oh, a family feud. Well, do go on. Do you mind if I take a few notes?
Oh, no. Anyway, that night I was at my window.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a balcony it has, where the parlour sticks out underneath.
Balcony, yes. Yeah, you stood at your balcony window after your first meeting with this fella.
Yeah, that's right. We'd been out drinking and I was all infatuated. Bernard! Bernard, I cried. Wherefore art thou, Bernard?
Yeah, and wherefore was he?
Well, he was down below, you see. He'd had a drop too much and he was leaning against the wall, clutching his tummy.
Oh, I'll say no more. Zoons, what a scene to put in a play, eh? I shall weave a story round it.
Oh, yeah, what do you call it?
Oh, I know, simple title. I think something like, how about Bernard and Mildred? No, on second thoughts, it doesn't sound quite, right, really, does it? How about, Romeo and Mildred?
Well, I don't know. My Bernard gets ever so jealous.
Yeah, well, I expect I'll think of some other girl's name, if perchance that would please you.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, there you are, thank heavens. You are Mr. William Shakespeare, I take it.
Indeed I am, sir. And you're the official censor, I take it, sir. How do you do, sir? Well, I've been devising the plot of a new play with the help of this most charming mistress.
Oh, she is a charming mistress, isn't she? Yes, good. Well done, Mildred. I do apologize, sir, for the delay in seeing you quite unavoidable, I'm afraid. Please come into my office.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, my word, what a morning.
Yes, well, I realize how busy you government people are, sir.
Yes.
'Tis well known you're honest, zealous, industrious workers.
You're not one of these new satirists, are you? No, of course not. I do very much. You're England's most promising playwright, and we're delighted to have you in the office.
Oh, thank you kindly, sir.
You may find us a little serious and sober, but I assure you that...
And made of you do me wrong to cast me off.
Oh, my goodness, too, I should never have left you in the tavern.
Don't have any more, Thomas More.
Too, you drunk. Sit down. Keep quiet. Master Shakespeare, you must excuse my assistant. He's been overworked.
Of course, yes. About my play, sir.
Oh, your play, my dear fellow. It's a masterpiece, and from the censor's point of view, no trouble at all. I wouldn't want you to alter a word.
Oh, this is good news indeed.
Of course, we censors aren't after people like you, Mr. Shakespeare.
You're not, I see, sir.
No, we're just out to stop those plays about sex and violence. That's what we're after. We never object to a good family comedy like this charming little piece of yours. What's it called again?
Macbeth, sir.
Macbeth, that's it. Delightful. I must tell you, Master Shakespeare, I've admired your work for a long time.
But this morning you said that...
Yes, indeed. Shut up. Excellent stuff, all of it. What's your next project?
Well, I'm writing 2 plays at the moment, sir, about Henry IV.
Really? Does he know? Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, it was one play, you see, but
yes.
Well, it was a bit long, so I thought I'd make 2 of it.
Oh.
Well, Henry IV Part 1 and Henry IV Part 2.
Oh, I say, that's never been done before.
I suppose you'll put advertisements in the middle.
Will you be quiet? Advertisements in the middle, indeed. Master Shakespeare's a very important visitor. I do apologize, Master Shakespeare.
Oh, well, there's no need to, sir. You've been most courteous. I shall tell Sir Francis Bacon how helpful you've been.
Sir Francis Bacon? Will you? Oh, very good
sir.
of you.
He's been very kind, you know. He's taken quite an interest in my affairs.
Oh, really? Is that so, really?
Yeah, I'm sorry to disturb you, sir, but there's 3 men out there. I think you'd better come and see them in the outer office.
Oh, yeah, but Mr. Shakespeare, where are you? Will you excuse me? Pressure of work, you understand.
I see, sir. Quite right.
What's the idea, Mildred? I didn't want to leave our guest. Who's this?
Constable John,
Constable
sir.
John?
Yes, I have here a warrant for the arrest of one William Shakespeare playwright who is charged with the wilful assault and battery of one of Her Majesty's clerical officers.
Oh, good gracious, the warrant. Yes, well, Constable John, it's cancelled.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid I can't accept that, sir. Only the clerk of the court can cancel a warrant once it's been sworn.
I'll send this young lady round to see him immediately.
Yeah, well, that's no use, sir. The clerk of the court's left for the assizes. I'm here to arrest William Shakespeare.
No, you can't do that, Mr. Shakespeare. He's a very important man, friends in high places and all that sort of thing.
Yes, well, that's up to those who took the warrant out. They'll have to answer to that. Now, if you'll just stand aside, sir, I'll carry on with my duty.
No. Look, Constable John, it's all a mistake.
It's no use protesting, sir. I've not seen this Shakespeare, but we know he's in your office, and we're going to take him. Now, come on, men.
Ah, very well, yes. Yes, I've got an idea. Well, in the circumstances, I suppose there's nothing I can do. Come along in. There you are, Constable. That's your man.
Thank you, sir. Right, men, take him away. Now, stand no nonsense. He's a rough customer.
No, take your business hands off. What's going on here?
can tell he's been fighting. Look at his nose.
Yes, and he's had a drink or two by the smell of his breath.
What are you ruffians doing? Get those leg irons off me. It's all a mistake.
Yes, that's what they all say, sir. Take him away, men. Put him in the wagon.
Oh, no.
Thank you for your help, sir.
Not at all, Constable Todd. Good day to you. I'm sorry about that, Master Will. A spot of unfinished business.
Alas, poor fellow.
Don't worry, I'll bail him out tomorrow. Now, Master Shakespeare, I think you said you'd put in a good word for us with Sir Francis Bacon.
Indeed will I, sir. Well, that concludes our business, I think.
Good. All's well that ends well, eh?
Yes, indeed. All's well. Odds bodkins. That'll make a title for a play, wouldn't it, sir? All's well that ends well. And so Master Shakespeare was well pleased, and the day did end with great merriment and feasting.
Extraordinary. All very different from the 1960s, eh? Does it say what happened to that assistant fellow who got arrested?
Yes, according to this, he was fined 20 groats for disturbing the Queen's peace by punching himself on the nose.
Oh, I say.
Mind you, he was a bit of an ass, judging from those records.
I don't know that his superior was much better. Sounds like a pompous old shirker to me.
Yes, indeed. Oh, you never get types like that in the civil service today.
Muddling through as the men from the Ministry were Wilfred Hyde-White and Richard Murdoch. Also featured were Roy Dotrice, Jack Watson, Norma Ronald and Gordon Clyde. The programme was written by Johnny Mortimer, Brian Cook and Edward Taylor, and produced by Edward Taylor.
That famous day in history, the man of the 7th Cavalry went riding on. And from the rear a voice was heard, a brave young man with a trembling word rang loud and clear.
What am I doing here? Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Mr. Custer, please don't make me go. I had a dream last night about the coming fight. Somebody yelled attack, and there I stood with an arrow in my back. Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Look at them bushes out there. They're moving. There's an Indian behind every one of them. Mr. Custer, may I be excused for the rest of the afternoon, please? Want to change my library book. Oi, Wyatt, duck your head. Bit late on that one, son. God, I bet that don't half hurt.
They were sure of victory, the men of the 7th Cavalry, as they rode on. When from the rear a voice was heard, that same brave voice with a trembling word rang loud and clear.
What am I doing here? Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Listen, Mr. Custer, please don't make me go. There's a redskin waiting out there, waiting to cut my hair. A coward I've been called, but I don't want to wind up dead or bald. Please, Mr. Custer, I don't want to go. Now let's see, what's the Indian word for friend? Oh, yes, I know. Manana, yes, that's it. Oh, you lot out there. Manana. Ooh, no, that ain't it. Look at them out there, running around like a bunch of wild Indians. Bunch of wild Indians. No, this is no time for joking. Oh! 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 Help! Mr. Custer! Oh, my God.
Round the Horne is a BBC radio comedy programme starring Kenneth Horne. First transmitted in 4 series of weekly episodes from 1965 until 1968. The show was created by Barry Took and Marty Feldman, who wrote the first 3 series. The 4th was written by Barry Took, Johnny Mortimer, Brian Cook and Donald Webster. Horne's supporting cast comprised Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddock, Betty Marsden and, in the first 3 series, Bill Pertwee. The announcer was Douglas Smith, who also took part in the sketches. All except the last series featured music by Edwin Braden, played by the band The Hornblowers, with a song in the middle of each show performed by the close harmony singing group the Fraser Hayes 4 in the 4th series. The music was by Max Harris with a smaller group of players than the earlier series.
Well, now then, these days there's a lot of exciting activity going on in the cinema. Indeed, it's sometimes hard to keep your eyes on the film. Anyway, in this series, we've decided to recreate on radio some of your popular favorites from the silver screen in a feature we call, rather daringly, I think, Movie Go Wrong. How do they think of them, honestly? It's amazing, isn't it? Sniff.
Sir.
Yes.
And now, Hornographic Productions.
I beg your pardon?
Hornographic with a H.
Oh, yes.
Hornographic Productions, in association with 20th Century Waterville, present Around the World in 10 Minutes.
Hey?
It's an edited version, sir.
The setting London under Victoria. A peaceful place except when the trains run overhead. As our story opens, it's a bright sunny day. My name is Phineas Figg.
It was fog in the original version.
It's a bright sunny day in ours, Smith. I live alone apart from my manservant, whose name is Passepartout.
They call me that because I spend a lot of my time around the pictures. I'm a gentleman's gentleman. They're very slow, aren't they? Will you be dining in tonight, Mr. Figg? Shall I lay on your dinner?
Well, I'd rather you didn't. Well, I'd rather you didn't. It does tend to bruise the Brussels sprouts, doesn't it? Now I'm off to the club for a game of cards, Passepartout.
Right, then I'll call you a horse-drawn music link.
Good afternoon, Mr. Figg. Well, let me take your hat, your cloak, your jacket, your waistcoat, your shirt, your trousers, your vest, your underpants, your flannelette kidney pad, your socks, your corn plaster, your spectacles.
Thank you, Albert.
Perhaps you better have your spectacles back.
I went straight to the gaming room and purchased 100 guineas worth of chips. Well, I hadn't had much breakfast.
Oh, Figg, there you are.
Oh, my old friend Alistair, Chit Witherington, Ponsonby, Fitzpasture, McMurdoch.
No, Jones, actually. I say, Figg, I just dropped a packet on the gaming table.
Oh, by Jove, how embarrassing for you.
Quite. Are you coming to the card hall?
I don't think so, Jones. I'm bored with card games. No, what I want is something new to gamble on.
New, eh? Tell you what, I'll bet you a shilling you can't run round this room in 5 seconds.
Wouldn't make much of a plot, would it?
No, I see your point. Very well, then, 1,000 guineas you can't go round the world in 80 days.
Done. I hurried home to prepare for my historic journey. Passepartout, you and I are going to see distant places. We're going round the world.
You mean like Chichester?
Yes, and possibly even more exotic places than that.
Oh, around the world.
At this point, I, Douglas Smith, tackle my most testing role to date. I play the world. Yes, and I'll tell you this, it'll take Mr. Williams more than 80 days to get round me.
Pig.
That'll do. Now, Smith, you are sure you can manage this part? I mean, the world.
Oh, yes. I've done it before. Remember, I played it in the day the earth caught fire.
Did you?
As they force-fed me with curry powder for 3 weeks.
Splendid, then. Let's go. A few days later found us drifting in a balloon high above the Alps. I knew it was the Alps because my manservant kept shouting, "Help! Help! Help! Help!" I flung him out of the basket in mistake for a sandbag.
Oh, that was a bit of luck. I caught my plastic dickie in the wickerwork.
Now, wait a minute. Look, I think we're beginning to lose height. Yes, quick, Passepartout. Put something over the side. No, not that. Something a bit heavier.
Too late. Too late. We're going to hit the ground.
Oh, I managed to jump clear at the last moment, but unfortunately I broke a leg. It belonged to Passepartout. He was underneath me.
Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Oh, it's broken. You'll have to put a cast on it.
A cast? Right, Smith, Paddock, Betty, get on his leg.
Don't bother, dear. I'll manage. I say, Mr. Fig, look, coming towards us. A Swiss milkman.
Oh, yeah, I say, miss, my servant and I are going round the world. What's the quickest way from here?
Well, you veer right as far as Austria, left through Yugoslavia, take the first turning past Russia, and then you'd better ask again.
Thank you very much. We left her and were fortunate enough to get a lift to Istanbul.
6th floor, ladies' toiletries, electrical accessories, sub-furnishings, reconditioned bicycles, and Istanbul.
And thanks for the lift.
It's a pleasure.
This is Istanbul, city of glamour and mystery. Have you ever been here before, Passepartout?
Only when I played the Ottoman Empire. But now we must obtain transport to continue our journey. Let's try in here. Sultan's Harem and Second-Hand Car Hire Limited.
Hello, strangers. I am Fatima. I used to be Cinema. But they turned me into a bowling alley.
Yeah. Right, yes.
Here in this harem, we have almost forgotten what a man looks like. Can either of you two girls remind us?
Cheeky cats.
Actually, we're men.
Oh, then you must flee. We are guarded by a fearsome eunuch who misses nothing.
Oh, we must do.
Too late. Here he comes.
Mr. Horne, I positively refuse to play this part. After all, I have got my principles.
Yes, that does make it difficult for you. But you'll do it, Hugh. I know you will, because you're a trooper, and because the show must go on, and because I got photographs of you, that stick of celery in the bolster.
I'll do it. Give me my cue line again.
Here he comes.
Well, we shot him. It was the kindest thing to do.
It was hardly worth putting the baggy trousers on.
You must flee. Take this hubble-bubble car and continue your journey round the world.
Across my trackless wastes they went. By car over parts of me that no man had ever seen before. By boat across the vast bosom of my oceans. By yak across my back. By punt across my front. But I care not. I spin lazily on the axis at an angle of 66 degrees.
Yes, we all know your inclination.
Where are we now, Smith?
Well, you've just gone through my Khyber Pass travelling on a camel.
Oh, then we're in India.
Hello, Colonel Hornsplast, Indian Army. I'd like you to meet the Maharaja of Randy Bintu.
Greetings, I am the... Greetings, I am the Maharaja.
I'm Phineas Figg, and this is my manservant, Passepartout.
We're travelling round the world, camping where we may. Quick change of voice to Maharaja.
I will offer you transport to continue your journey. You may borrow my elephant, Fido. Here he comes now.
We leapt up and clung to the great flapping ears.
Let go my ears. It won't hurt you.
The incredible journey continued. Where would we arrive next? Ah, yes, the Kalahari Desert.
Water!
Across the Indian Ocean.
Sponges!
Until finally England came into view. The familiar white cliff appeared.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Come on, Mr. Figg. We must get to London. It's only 2 hours before the 80 days are up. Only 80 days to London, puss. I'm sorry. We can go on horseback. There's a couple of hacks over there.
No, leave them alone. They're the writers looking for a tag. We'll walk.
There you are, Figg.
Oh, yes, Jones, here I am. Remember our wager, 1,000 guineas if I could go around the world in 80 days?
Of course I remember. Off you go, then.
We've been!
Oh. Well, I tell you what. You're a sporting man, Figg. Double or quits.
Done. Come on, Passepartout. This time we'll go the other way round. It's longer, but it's much prettier.
Oh, no!
Movie go wrong. Smith, make the announcement, will you?
This week's film adaptation, we bring you a daring wartime escape story. Pornographic Productions, in association with McWhirter's Quick Frozen Porridge Fingers, proudly presents Escape from Starag Limpris.
Pardon?
Well, it's just a little camp, sir.
Oh. The place, a German prisoner of war camp in the dark days of 1942. My name is Coxflute. Colonel Coxflute of the ATS. Well, some sort of mix-up in records, I suppose, that I never bothered to complain. As our story opens, the new German commandant is addressing the POWs.
I'm Heinrich Kartoffelsalat, your new commandant. Expect cooperation from you prisoners, and you can start by returning the old commandant. Dismissed.
The men began to break up grumbling. That's a sort of coarse black bread, actually. While I returned to my hut for a meeting with my brother officers. Well, gentlemen, the situation is this. There are 3,000 men in this camp, cruelly severed from their wives and sweethearts. Now, what are we going to do?
Well, I have a rather bold suggestion.
Yes?
Let's escape. We can leap over the barbed wire.
Well, no use. One chap tried it and failed. Poor old Squeaky. He was always trying to get away.
Yes, he made it in the end there. Wriggled out through the sewer pipe. Got back to England covered in glory.
Since then, all our attempts to escape have failed. I suspect that one of the officers in this hut is betraying our plans to the Germans. I looked round. Was it Lieutenant Jones? Captain Jenkins? Obergruppenführer Fritz von Schwarzkopf? Who could tell? Suddenly the door was kicked open.
Rausch Schweinhund, get up!
Young Rausch Schweinhund got up and was led out. We weren't quite sure why he was there in the first place, and they brought in a new prisoner.
Hello. I'm Group Captain Toothloosesleeve. Reggie Toothloosesleeve.
Yeah. Don't tell me you're one of the few.
Yes, I am. Yes. Actually, I'll tell you, Jerry got me with a burst of flak in the rear.
Oh, how painful for you.
I was flying a Mosquito at the time. We're a bit short of planes these days.
I could tell this man had something. Courage, guts. Call it what you will.
Yeah.
By Jove, Reggie, you've got a lot of... Call it what you will. Isn't that the ribbon of the DFC? It's not often you see a man wearing that.
No?
Well, not in his hair.
You're just in time, Reggie. We're planning an escape. It won't be easy. We're locked in this hut all night. The jerry passes round every 2 hours, and they've got... We've got great big guard dogs with them.
Well, why don't we dig a tunnel?
Good thinking. But how will we remove the dirt?
We'll leave that to the producer. He's good at that.
And so we began the tunnel. We prized up a floorboard and started to dig it.
Man, dig that crazy floorboard.
It was going to be a long job. The routine of the camp went on. Letters from home arrived to break the monotony.
Lads, I've got a letter from the missus.
Dear Stan, I have just given birth to twin boys. I am calling them Angus and Jock. The lodger, Mr. Matt Tavish, sends his regards. Yours faithfully, Moira.
But Stan, you've been here for over 3 years.
And I write very passionate letters.
I say, chaps, there's a letter for me, too.
Dear Roger, I want you to know you are never far from my thoughts. I cry into my pillow at night and murmur your name. Come home soon. Things are not the same without you.
Well, isn't that nice? Who's it from?
My old drill sergeant at Aldershot. Sentimental old fool.
Meanwhile, the tunnel was progressing. That day, it was Reggie's turn to dig. He'd drawn the short straw. How are you getting on?
Not very well. I've bent my short straw. Can't we get a shovel?
I'm afraid not, no.
Oh, go on, sir. I haven't got a part this week. I could play the shovel.
Well, I don't think so, Smith. It really needs somebody younger.
Yes,
younger. Tell you what, though, you can play the tunnel. And later in the plot, Mr. Williams and I will go through you. All right?
It's absolutely necessary, sir. Very well, I'll play the tunnel.
Good.
Already I'm 50 yards long and growing every day. I'm cold and dank and moisture runs down my sides.
Oh, shut up. Now then, men, the escape is tonight. While Reggie and I'll crawl through that Douglas Smith, you chaps get busy painting road-up signs and create a diversion. Oh, come on, Reggie. Only another few yards.
Oh, it's so cramped. It's so cramped in this tunnel. I can barely move. I said it was a mistake to bring the Max Harris group down here with us.
Shh. We're through. We're just outside the wire. Keep your head down. The German guards are everywhere. Did you work out our route on that map?
Yes, we catch the Bakerloo train from West Hampstead to Charing Cross, then change the district
Yes,
line.
now look, actually it's more the first part of our journey I'm worried about. From here to London, it's not going to be easy, but we can sleep in barns.
And have a nap in Hammersmith.
Yeah, I see, yeah. But let's get out of Germany first. We headed for the French border. Our first problem was the Rhine, but fortunately we had our raincoats with us. We hitched a lift, hiding under a load of dried grass. Suddenly, the wagon was stopped by a man in the field grey uniform and Africa Corps hat we had learned to dread.
We're done for. It's a British Railways porter.
No, it's a German. I think he's going to poke about here with his bayonet.
Really?
We mustn't make a sound. Now, grit your teeth.
I can't.
Well, give them to me. I'll grit them for you. He won't see us in the dried grass. Wait. I think your elbow is sticking out.
He hasn't spotted it, though. He can't tell dried grass from my elbow.
You must be joking. Get out, Englishers. I have my gun pointing at your stomachs. You will raise them above your head.
We climbed out. He marched us to a local billiard hall and placed us under arrest.
Have you any last request before I shoot you?
Yes, please. Miss me.
We looked around the billiard hall. We could never break down the door with our bare hands. Fortunately, there was a queue against the wall, and they all helped us. Once more, we were free. Dawn found us in a haystack near the French border.
Hello.
Hello.
I am Dawn.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. Dawn Higgins of the French Resistance. We will help you get to the coast. You will pretend to be a French peasant couple. Here, you may borrow my plastic map as a disguise.
Won't the Germans see through it?
Possibly. But in order to allay suspicion, you will have a baby.
I'll do my best, baby.
No, please. No. I will supply the baby.
Well, it's very good of you, but we are in a bit of a hurry.
It will not be a real one.
Oh, darling.
You will hide in my cellar while I make the arrangements.
Excellent. And from there, perhaps I can send a message to London. Dear Vera Lynn, please sing the Nuns' Chorus for Dawn and all in the resistance hidden in the secret cellar at 27 Rue Fromage. There.
But what about the Gestapo? They listen in.
Oh, let them send their own requests. Just a minute, somebody's coming.
Hello. This is Jacques. Are you okay?
I am all right, Jacques. Jacques likes the English, except for the footballers. West Bromwich let him down on the pools.
Oh, perfidious Albion. The plan has been changed. Slip on this German uniform.
What a good idea. With those on, they will look just like a couple of panzers.
Saucy cat.
Yes, it is a ruse devised by my sister Charlotte.
We agreed to the Charlotte ruse and followed up with cheese and biscuits. It was to be our last meal in France. That very evening, we were dining on British soil. It tasted revolting. But we were glad to be back.
Well, sir, here we are, back in dear old Blighty. It's a pity about the misunderstanding over these German uniforms.
Yes, Reggie, this English prisoner of war camp is worse than Stalag Limperist. Oh, well, only one thing for it.
Start digging a tunnel.
This week's film adaptation is a story of that sinful city of ancient times, the seat of a corrupt empire which wallowed in bacchanalian orgies and sadistic spectacle.
Oh, Bogner.
No, sir, ancient Rome. Pornographic Productions, in association with Pounder Flesh Limited, the friendly loan company, proudly present Continuum Medicum Romanum.
Oh, keep taking the Roman tablets. I'm a slave in ancient Rome. My name is Frigidius Maximus. The girls call me Frigid Maxi for short, but not for long. A slave's life is hard. I've been flogged more than once, and I'm about to be flogged again.
Here we are, gents. Lot 22, a second-hand British slave in good nick, hardly a mark on him. Now, I'm not going to ask you 50 denarii. I'm not going to even ask you 25. I tell you what I'll do. I won't bother rabbing him. No mucking about. Here you are, 5 denarii. You want him? Get over there. Off you go, son.
And he knocked me down to a Roman noble. I sprawled at his feet. All I could see were the rays of the setting sun gleaming on the strap of his sandal. Just a thong at twilight.
Get up, slave.
He tugged me to my feet by pulling at my chain. I flushed.
No need to be shy, slave. Gird up your loins. I can't bear an ungirded loin.
I followed him to his home. His name was Glucosius Tablitus. He was a tribune and hoped to be a new statesman.
Slave, you will wait upon me hand and foot, and any other part of me that requires waiting upon.
It was a hard life, and I was busy from the moment I sundialed on in the morning until I sundialed off at B. I used to sweep out the stables with another young slave, but later they gave me a broom, which made it easy. And Then one day, Glucosius sent for me.
I have been watching you closely, Frigidius. The way your muscles ripple and knot as you peel a grape. Seemingly without effort.
Oh, sir, it's just a knack.
I am going to send you to gladiatorial school. You'll learn there to fight with a broadsword, kill a lion with your bare hands, crush an opponent's skull, and possibly a bit of flour arranging on the side.
My first day at St. Hilda's gladiatorial school.
Right. Now, Rusty, you knocked you on the ground and holds this razor-sharp trident at your throat. What do? Yes, well, that's what most of them do to begin with. But you're not going to get the thumbs up if you do that, are you?
Soon I was ready for my first appearance in the arena.
Well, it's a bright sunny day here at the Coliseum, and any moment now the games will start. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Mad Marcus for Quality Youth Chariots. The finest selection in Rome. Mad Marcus, just opposite the Forum. Getaway people go to Mad Marcus.
You'll be happy and gay, I'll be happy and way with a chariot from Mad Marcus.
Go now. Remember, tempus fugit.
Thank you. Excitement is rising here at the Coliseum, and here comes the Emperor Nero. The crowd is rising. They're genuflecting at him, but he's brushing it off. Beside him is his good lady wife, Popeye.
Popeye.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Nero, I'm so excited. When do the games start?
Later. We've got to watch this boring lot first. See one gladiator eaten by a lion and you've seen them all. Myself, I'll sooner go home and fiddle.
So would I.
Meanwhile, down in the changing room below the arena, we gladiators were getting ready for combat.
Is this your first fight, son?
Well, yes, it is, but I'm ready. I've whetted the edge of my sword.
Yeah, well, it takes some of us that way.
5 minutes, amateur beginners, please.
It was the moment of truth. I strode out into the arena. Suddenly a fierce lion bounded across the sand.
At this point, it should be mentioned that I, Douglas Smith, play the lion. For the occasion, I'm wearing an old Davy Crockett hat and a set of Granny's teeth.
Well done, Smith. Off we go.
Very well, sir. Raw, snarl, slaver.
Get back, Smith. Take that.
Raw.
And that.
Growl.
And that. No, wait a minute. I'll keep that one for myself. You can have this one.
Wait, sir, wait. Don't you remember me? When you were a little boy, a lion cub removed a thorn from your foot. It was me, sir.
A likely story. Take that.
He fights bravely, this slave. I must have him for my guard. What do you want for him, Glucosius? Quick change of voice.
What do you offer, O noble emperor?
Back again. No, stop messing about. I'll do you a swap. My set of cigarette cards are famous Vestal Virgins and my Elgin marbles. How's that?
And so I changed to Praetorian Guards. The Emperor was a nervous man and would allow no weapons in his presence, so day and night I stood at his side with a drawn cucumber. He fancied himself as a poet and musician.
Yeah, listen to this. No, come on, listen.
All right.
There was a mighty Amazon who fought an alligator. She gave a sob inside his gob and he was gladiator. What do you think?
Well,
Now, go on. So you like it. Go on. No,
well...
I wrote it while I was sitting on the Senate.
It was wonderful, Nero. Superb poetry.
I shall set it to music. Fetch me a lyre.
One here already, that's me.
Like to hear another one?
Well, if you like.
Come on, here. When Julius had the emperor's job, he met a maid from Pisa. What shall I do, he asked the mob. And the people all cried...
Caesar!
Yes, that's right.
Caesar! I have news of Greece. They've run out of it in the kitchen. You'll have to have boiled potatoes instead.
Oh, the disgrace. I'm throwing a special civic orgy tonight, and somebody's nicked that grease. All this city's full of corruption. No, I'll get livid. I burn while Rome fiddles.
That night's orgy was a splendid affair. Wine flowed like water. The fountains gushed with milk stout. Scantily clad maidens performed wild, sinuous dances. It was all I could do to keep my cucumber steady. Suddenly, I heard a voice in my ear. I haven't touched a drop.
Frigidius, it is I, Poppaea. Tonight was made for love.
But I'm Nero's guard, madam. Love is a word that's forbidden to me.
Oh, very well. Tonight was made for politics. Come with me.
So I went. All that night I politicked her. After all, when in Rome... yes. Eventually, the gentle, questing fingers of a new day spun their rosy magic across the sky.
Nice.
No, but it can't be dawn. It's only X to IV. Look out of the window. Rome is ablaze.
Yes, Nero did it, because I wanted to fiddle while Rome burned. Here I go, then. Grab your partner, spin her round. Rome is turning to the ground. Tuck up your toga and strum on your lyre. I've set the flaming place on fire. My popularity's down to zero, but after this, I'll be a Nero. Do it the Appian way. Oi!
Now here's a little story. To tell it is a must. About an unsung hero that moves away a dust. Some people make a fortune, others earn a mint. My old man don't earn much. In fact, he's flipping skint. Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold blimey trousers and he lives in the council flat. He looks a proper nana in his great big hobnail boots. He's got such a job to pull them up, but he calls them daisy roots. Some folks give tips at Christmas and some of them forget. So when he picks their bins up, he spills some on the step. Now one old man got nasty and to the council wrote, next time my old man went round there, he punched him up the throat. Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold blimey trousers and he lives in a council flat. I say, Les.
Yeah?
I found a police dog in my dustbin.
Well, how do you know he's a police dog?
He had a policeman with him. Though my old man's a dustman, he's got an heart of gold. He got married recently, though he's 86 years old. We said, here, hang on, Dad, you're getting past your prime. He said, well, when you get my age, it helps to pass the time. My old man's a dustman, he wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold blimey trousers and he lives in a council flat. I say. My dustbin's full of lilies.
Well, throw them away, then.
I can't, Lily's wearing them. Now, one day, whilst in a hurry, he missed a lady's bin. He hadn't gone but a few yards when she chased after him. What game do you think you're playing? She cried right from the art. You've missed me, am I too late? Now jump up on the cart. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold blimey trousers and he lives in the council flat. I say.
What's you again?
My dustbin's absolutely full with toadstools.
How do you know it's full?
'Cause there's not much room inside. He found a tiger's head one day, nailed to a piece of wood. The tiger looked quite miserable, but I suppose he should. Just then from out a window, a voice began to wail. He said, oi, where's me tiger's head? 4 foot from his tail. Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold blimey trousers and he lives in the council flats. Next time you see a dustman looking all pale and sad, don't kick him in the dustbin, it might be my old
Hamish and Dougal are two characters from the long-running BBC Radio 4 radio comedy panel game I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, played by Barry Cryer and Graham Garden. They later went on to have their own Radio 4 series, You'll Have Had Your Tea, and The Doings of Hamish and Dougal.
You'll Have Had Your Tea, The Doings of Hamish and Dougal. Today, the murder mystery.
Dougal! Hamish! I'm very surprised to find you here. Oh, I just dropped in to pick up my pension and a book of stamps. What about you?
Yeah, I just dropped in to ask them to turn down the music. Thank you, Mrs. McAllister.
Any time, big boy. We only had it on to get rid of the mice. Now, look here. This letter has arrived for your cleaning lady, Mrs. Naughty. Perhaps you gents could deliver it for us, as we can't seem to find her.
We can't help you there. We'd like to know what's become of her. We haven't seen her since she popped out last Tuesday.
We averted our eyes, of course. And when we looked round, she was gone. Now, that's my kind of music, Mrs. McAllister.
But it's very worrying. Our houses are in a terrible mess since she went. The dust on the picture rail is knee-deep.
I simply can't go on without a cleaning lady.
I've got a pile of filthy laundry.
No, it has to be a cleaning lady.
Well, if you ask me, you're better off without her.
Why? What can you mean, Mrs. M?
Come under the counter for a moment, and I'll tell you.
Oh, right. You were served.
Well, I'm not one to talk.
Well, that was a waste of time, wasn't it?
But I will say this. Mrs. Naughty is no better than she ought to be. That woman is a man-eater.
I can assure you she draws the line at that.
I've said enough.
Very well. How much do I owe you?
My lips are sealed.
Well, it serves you right for licking those self-adhesive stamps. I'll bid you good day. Go away! Oh, come in, you persistent bugger.
No, I won't.
Dougal!
Hamish!
You'll have had your tea.
Yeah, well, no,
You took your time coming in.
There was a queue.
Still no news of Mrs. Naughty?
Apparently she was cited.
Yes?
In a divorce case in 1972.
The McAllister case. It's all come flooding back.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear it. Will I get you the rubber poof?
No. The case, man. Doris McAllister and her husband, the GP.
Aye, a very small man.
I remember. About 5'3", bald head, bushy ginger beard.
And she hasn't changed a bit.
And you remember her husband, cruel eyes and a moustache like thunder.
Name of Duncan.
That's right, he called his moustache Duncan.
And he disappeared in mysterious circumstances during the court case.
And Mrs. Naughty, or Nuss Naughty, as she was then, and we must now think of her, was named as the other woman.
I never thought she had it in her.
Oh, she did. They had photographs. In fact, I ordered 6 of the large ones. And one for my wallet. Look!
Look, Shane's. Has it been touched up?
Well, that's hard to tell from this.
It's very fuzzy. What aperture were they using?
Your guess is as good as mine.
So, Mrs. Naughty was old Dr. McAllister's nurse.
Yes, and I remember there was talk at the time that she'd persuaded him to change his will, making her the sole beneficiary. You remember the police tried to finger Mrs. Naughty?
Oh, just boyish high spirits.
It's my belief the poor woman has run away from all the hurtful gossip.
Where can she be?
There's only one place she can be. Tonight, Hamish, we go camping on the moors.
Well, that seems a bit callous when we should be looking for Mrs. Naughty. But whatever you say.
Hamish, stop making that silly noise.
I'm sorry.
It's not clever and it's not funny.
There's much in demand at parties.
Oh, yeah. Like when you pull your trouser pockets out and do an impression of an elephant. Well, this isn't the Freemasons' ladies' night.
All right. Very well. It's just so quiet here out on the moor.
It is, camping out at night on the moors. Look up, Hamish, and tell me what you see.
I see a clear night sky with a full moon, and all the stars are shining, each one in its place, which tells me God's in his heaven and all's well with the world.
Hamish, you're a dickhead. We are in a tent. It's impossible to see the stars at all.
Oh, so it is. Unless, of course, somebody were to steal the tent.
Steal the tent? Oh. That would be the funniest joke in the world.
What was that? I'll take a peep.
Well,
nothing out of the ordinary.
Good. Now, let's look outside the tent. Oh, mighty me, look over there.
It's a large, glow-in-the-dark dog.
No, wait. I recognise the hat. It's Mrs. Naughty. Come away home with us, woman.
No, it's the gossip. The gossip. I've had it up to here.
Aye, that's what they're saying.
But we're not at home to Mrs. Tittle-Tattle.
No.
No, come away home and I'll put the kettle on.
You know that always makes you laugh.
Yeah.
And incidentally, if it's elephant impressions you're after...
But look here. Look here, the fog's coming down, Hamish. Come on and beware of the quicksands.
After you, Mrs. Naughty.
Right you are. Oh, beg pardon. Where are we? I cannot see a thing.
Look! What? Look there ahead of us.
What?
It's the laird's big hoose.
Oh, he'll revive us with a hot toddy and a blazing row.
Hello. That's strange. Parked in the laird's driveway, Mrs. McAllister's one-seater tandem.
Mrs. McAllister, it's all falling into place.
Well, that's a matter of opinion. And there you have it, your lordship.
Well, that is extraordinary. You'd swear it was an elephant. Now... Now, what are you doing here?
Well, it's a long story. It all started many years ago when, as you'll recall, Dr. McAllister disappeared.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
Well, we are here to unravel the mystery.
What, at this time of night?
That's a bonny clock you've got there.
Yes, it's a traditional Bavarian yelping clock. Been in the family for most of the afternoon.
Ouch!
Mrs. McAllister!
Perhaps I can explain. Mrs. McAllister is here by way of being my current squeeze. But I see you know each other.
I'll say we do. Go on, then. We do. I won't ask what Mrs. McAllister was doing inside your clock. I think we've all got a pretty good idea.
Oh, is that an elephant?
No, it's a little party piece I've just learned.
Oh, an African one, too. Your lordship, we believe Mrs. McAllister was behind her husband's mysterious disappearance. And she spread the rumours that Mrs. Naughty was to blame. Well, Mrs. Naughty's here now to have it out with her, face to face.
Mrs. McAllister, what? You've made my life a misery. How can you say that? It isn't easy. Who have besmirched my good name, explain yourself. Let's hear what really happened to Dr. McAllister.
He tried to end it all behind the kirk. I found him hanging by the cloisters.
An unusual way out for a medical man.
I cut him down, but he left me. Last I heard, he was living with a pole dancer in the Kyle of Butte. I can't remember his name.
Dr. McAllister.
That's it.
Yes. I admit I am Dr. McAllister. I took on the identity of the lad, my identical twin sister, to escape Mrs. Naughty's attentions. Money changed hands, shallow grave, secret passage, birthmark, you know the sort of stuff. Well, there you have it. Mystery solved. Drum major.
Well, Hamish, a most happy outcome. Bottoms up. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't check in the mirror. Well, here's mud in your eye. Oh, you... Right, down the hatch. Oh! Well, after that, I think we need a drink. Well, at last we're back to normal, and no more mysteries, let's hope. There's one thing I don't understand, Inspector.
Yes, sir? What's that?
What are you doing here?
You'll have had your tea. The Doings of Hamish and Dougal was written and performed by Barry Cryer and Graham Garden, with Alison Steadman as Mrs. Naughty and Mrs. McAllister, and Jeremy Hardy as the Laird, instead of me. Music was arranged by John Garden and performed by Claire McTaggart, Francis Dorling, Scott Hammond and Pete Rosser, with assistance from the Banbury Pipe Band. The producer was John Naismith.
was a foggy day on the 6th of May in a scammell hauling bricks. It was just cracking dawn and I started to yawn because I couldn't find any nice chicks. I tried Newport, Bagnall, Toddington and even Watford Gap. But after so many eggs, chips, sausage and beans, what I really needed was a nap. It's a lonely life truck driving, but it's better than a bike. Because when you're up in the cab, you're the king of the road, and it's dead romantic like. And then I remembered me two-way radio, so I started feeling better. And I thought, I'll start a convoy, you know, just like that American fella.
Let's begin the saga of the M1 motorway. The biggest booming convoy outside the USA. Why not join our lineup? It's completely free. All you need is transport and current MOT. Convoy.
Hello, this is Super Scouts calling. Anyone out there, come on.
Hello, this is Plastic Chicken, go on.
Dads, come on. What's your load, Plastic Chicken?
Well, it would have been quick dry cement, but the rain got in. Do you know anybody who wants to buy a 3-ton brick?
Oh, so there we were, the two of us, at the start of something big. There was Plastic Chicken with his brick on wheels, and me in my big rig. With every junction that we passed, others would tag on. There was even a London transport bus. Yeah, that's a nice wagon. It certainly was an impressive sight to see us on the road. There was vehicles of every shape and size. We certainly had grown. Suddenly there was this commotion. It was a circus and a fair. There was an animal acrobatic act.
Oh, look, a bear in the air.
Listening to the saga of the M1 motorway. The biggest booming convoy outside the USA. We're halfway through our story, but please don't go away. Here comes the Gay Junction.
We'll be here all day.
Convoy.
Hello, Plastic Chicken to Super Scouts, get off. I mean, come in, come on. Oh, do I have to say this every time?
Yeah, have you seen any fuzz boxes? That's slang for police cars.
Jack and Nori, Super Scouts, that's slang for no.
That's negatory, you beck.
Oh, say, is this a private convoy? Can anyone join in?
What's your wheels are, kid?
Would you believe a camper?
Spaghetti Junction was coming up, so we were bound to lose a few. And sure enough, the forklift truck disappeared heading off towards Crewe. The combine harvested shred a wheel, and the driver lost control. And a mobile DJ crashed his van, so he ain't gonna play no soul anymore.
So we end our story on the M1 motorway. Of the biggest booming convoy outside the USA. This record is good value, as you can plainly see. This label as a tax, disco, it's about me. Convoy.
Plastic Chicken to Super Scouts, there's a big black limo coming up behind.
What about it?
Well, it's got a flag on the front and a funny number plate. HRH1.
Oh, mercy sakes, good buddy. You better give her the front door and wave her on, like.
Will do, Super Scouts. I'm waving her on. Oh, look, she's waving back. Isn't that nice?
Plastic Chicken, do you want to stick her in behind that suicide jockey?
What's a suicide jockey?
As it happens, how's about... Plastic Chicken, don't you think you better change gear for this hill?
What's wrong with the gear I've got on? I mean, doesn't it look right?
Change gear, ram the foot on the floor and change the gear. What you talking about? You don't want to drive a truck, do you? You got no idea. You haven't got any idea how to drive a truck. You're mad. We should never join in this
In the bad backlands of Australia, many years ago, the Aborigine tribes were meeting, having a big powwow.
We got a lot of trouble, Chief, on account of your son, Mac.
My boy Mac? Why? What's wrong with him?
Our boomerang won't come back.
Your boomerang won't come back?
My boomerang won't come back. My boomerang won't come back. I've waved the thing all over the place. Practiced till I was black in the face. I'm a big disgrace, the Aborigine race. My boomerang won't come back. I can ride a kangaroo.
Yeah, yeah.
Make kinkajou stew.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm a big disgrace, the Aborigine race. My boomerang won't come back.
The banished him frowned the tribe then and sent him on his way. He had a backless boomerang, so here he could not say.
This is nice, isn't it? Getting banished at my time of life. What a way to spend an evening. Sitting on a rock in the middle of the desert with me boomerang in my hand. I should very likely get bushwhacked. Get out of it, nasty bushwhacking animal. I think I'll make a nice cup of tea. Good gracious. There goes a kangaroo. I must have a practice with me boomerang. Hit him right behind the left ear, though. Now then, slowly back.
If you throw that thing at me, I'll jump right on your head.
Isn't it marvellous? Got a land full of kangaroos and I had to pick that one.
For 3 long months he sat there, or maybe it was 4. Then an old man in a kangaroo skin came a-knocking at his door.
I'm the local witch doctor, son. They call me George Elfrid Black. Now tell me, what's your trouble, boy?
My boomerang won't come back.
Your boomerang won't come back? My boomerang won't come back. My boomerang won't come back. I'll wave the thing all over the place. Practice till I was black in the face. I'm a big disgrace, the Aborigine race. My boomerang won't come back. Don't worry, boy, I know the trick, and to you I'm gonna show it. If you want your boomerang to come back, well, first you've got to throw it.
Oh, yes. Never thought of that. Daddy will be pleased.
Must have a go.
Excuse me. Now then, slowly back and throw.
Oh, my God. I've hit the flying doctor.
Can you do first aid?
Don't talk to me about first aid, boy. You owe me 14 chickens, you know, when I learned you to throw the boomerang, you know. First things first.
Yes, I know that, but I mean, I think on this occasion, you know, you could be a bit more perspective.
Much Binding in the Marsh was a comedy show broadcast from 1944 to 1954, firstly by BBC Radio and subsequently Radio Luxembourg. It starred Kenneth Horne and Richard Murdoch as senior staff in a fictional RAF station battling red tape and wartime inconvenience. Over the years the station turned to non-combatant operations, became a country club. The proposed membership drive has been cancelled as it is far cheaper to give everyone a bus ticket, and finally a newspaper, The Weekly Bind. The programme's title may have been inspired by the RAF station at Moylton in Marsh, Gloucestershire, along with the word binding, period RAF slang for difficulties or problems accompanied by whining or complaining. One of the most fondly remembered parts of the show was the closing theme tune, with topical lyrics each week referring to the plot of the episode, written and sung by members of the cast.
Here's Merry-Go-Round, going round the services week by week, bringing music and fun to boys and girls in khaki and 2 shades of blue. To all you servicemen and women, wherever you are. This week the predominating colour is once again Air Force Blue. So now with Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horne, their guest Joan Winters, and a supporting cast including an all-star RAF orchestra, the Royal Air Force takes the air.
Once again, we extend an invitation to you all to come with us on a flying visit to that famous RAF station in After Command, Much Binding in the Marsh, where waiting at the station gates with his usual escort of WAF SPs is our very own CO, Squadron Leader, Richard Murdoch.
How
How do you do, visitors? Welcome yet again to Much Binding in the Marsh. I've already explained to you the sort of thing that goes on here, but in case you should ever want to come again, I'd better explain the best way to get here. You take a train from any station on the main line, change at Crewe, Flanthorpe, Possingbridge, Spursley Junction and Blope. Here you detrain, get out your sandwiches and vacuum flask, because you have an hour and 20 minutes to wait for the bus to Sprantfield Abbot. Please don't get too hopeful about the sign on the saloon bar at the station hotel at Blope, which says back in 5 minutes, as it's been there to my knowledge since 1932. The nearest station to this camp is actually Little Binding Halt, but no train has ever been known to halt there. In fact, it's so near the offal factory that I doubt if any train could halt there long enough to let the people off. However, station transport meets the bus at Sprantfield Abbot, and one can easily distinguish the station transport as it has RAF roundels on the shafts and yellow gas detector painted on the horse's neck. You should be able to arrive here within 48 hours of leaving Euston, and on arrival you must report to the guard room. This is easy to spot, if you know what to look for. It's a converted lighthouse, which became redundant when the surrounding country was reclaimed from the sea. You press the button marked A to summon the orderly corporal. He's known as Corkscrew Charlie on account of running up the spiral stairs so often. Don't on any account press button B, because we rather think it's connected to the air raid siren, and so far we've never dared press it to find out. Show the corporal your identity card. If you haven't got it, show him an old bus ticket. He'll never know the difference. And provided you give him a large enough tip, he'll show you round the station. He might even show you the Martello Tower, where the station band practices. Flying Officer Sidney Torch is on leave at the moment, so we've given him permission to put in a deputy. And here then is Flying Officer Peter York and his 16-metre band, and they're going to play a piece, the title of which I've forgotten for the moment, but it'll be jolly good.
Well, by now you will have realized that Much Binding in the Marsh is an isolated district, but just how far from civilization you may not believe. To bring this home to those who do not realize what loneliness and isolation can mean, we're going to let you listen to an actual conversation between the CEO of the station, Richard Murdoch, and the AOC 8080 group, Kenneth Horne, at station headquarters, Much Binding in the Marsh.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm glad you visited us today. You'll be just in time for the ceremonial march past.
Ceremonial flapdoodle, Murdoch. We've got to prepare for something much bigger than that.
But, sir, it's all arranged, and the chaps have been practicing for weeks. The flag's been put the right way up, and we've managed to issue nearly every man with a uniform of some sort. You'll be most impressed, sir.
But, Murdoch, haven't you heard the news?
Don't tell me Golden Firefly pulled off the 2:30 at Pontefract.
No, Murdoch, it's bigger news even than that.
Oh, put me out of my suspense, sir.
Well, it's like this. I was sitting in my dentist's waiting room this morning. I'd finished reading the Needlewoman's Guardian when I came across one of those newspaper things. And there it was in the top press. Murdoch, it's come at last.
What has, sir?
Chamberlain has declared war on Germany.
Well, I must say I've seen it coming. As soon as I saw that consignment of pikes arrive, I knew something was afoot.
I must say my suspicions were aroused when I got a signal from command which read, "Much binding aircraft must be made serviceable, new elastic in post."
I suppose under the circumstances, sir, we'd better cancel the concert tomorrow night.
Oh, not at all, Murdoch. It's moments like these that the airmen's morals must be kept up.
Couldn't we use the elastic for that, sir?
Don't be ridiculous. You know what all this means, Murdoch?
No, sir. Surprise me.
Well, it means that a state of emergency exists. It means that every man must gird up his loins. It means we must all toughen up our sinews and man our posts with determination. This is war, Murdoch.
Is that egg you've got on your tie, sir?
Oh, by Jove, you're right. It must have slipped down off the peak of my hat. What are your reactions to this news, Murdoch?
Well, it's no surprise to me, sir. I always did mistrust the Kaiser.
This'll probably mean a food shortage, you know.
Oh, it's started already. Only yesterday I went into Mrs. Cavy's everything shop at Little Binding to get a dozen bananas, and she'd only let me have 6.
Good heavens, don't say I shall have to put up with pineapple for my 11s again.
Do you think, sir, we'd better break the news to the men, or shall we let them get over the concert first?
Well, Murdoch, we mustn't upset them. If we want them to come into this war on our side, we've got to cajole them.
You're right, sir. You remember how peevish they were when we suggested compulsory saluting? I think, sir, if I may suggest, we might get a line on the men's reactions by breaking it to Costa.
Good idea. He always strikes me as being the epitome of the bulldog breed. Send for him.
Hello? Ask LAC Costa to come in for a moment, will you? What's that? Oh, tell him he can pass bar to his pin-up girls later. Never heard of such a thing.
Tell me, Murdoch, how do you think we ought to arrange ourselves for this interview?
Well, sir, you must definitely sit with your back to the light.
I think you might be nonchalantly scanning daily routine orders.
Yes.
We must put Costa at his ease.
Look out, here he comes.
Quick to our places.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Costa. What a surprise. How are your people?
Oh, nicely, thank you, sir. Mind you, Emily's had a nasty touch of her twinges again.
Yes.
Oh, I know the very thing for that. I came across a tin in the chemist yesterday. It's done me a power of good. It's called D-Digito. And its slogan is, try it out and notice the relief.
Well, I must tell Emily about that, sir. I'm very grateful to you, I'm sure.
Well, sir, I think you'd better explain to Costa why he's here.
Yes. Now then, Costa. By the way, you responsible for DROs?
Yes, sir, yes.
Do you realise you spelt canteen with a K?
Oh, Costa. How many times have I told you it should be C-A-N-T-I-N-E?
I couldn't apologise more, sir. I hope this is not going to jeopardise my chances of promotion.
Well, you know, if you don't pay attention to the small things in life, how can you expect to be a leader of men? Where do you think I should be if I'd spelt Lysander with a Y?
Well, I don't know, sir. I really don't know, sir.
Well, let that be a lesson to you, Costa.
Very good, sir. Is that all?
Yes, don't let it happen again.
Very good, sir.
I thought you were going to tell him about the war.
Oh, by you, Jove, yes, so I was. I am getting an old scatterbrain.
Oh, I don't know, sir. You're not very old. Shall I get him back again?
Yes, do. I think you ought to know how things stand.
Right. Hello? Send in Costa again, will you? Well, he can trim her edges later. This craze for photographs. Come in. Oh, it's you again, Costa. Tell me, How are your people?
Well, nicely, thank you, sir. Mind you, Emily's had a nasty touch of her
Yes, of course. Now then, Costa, the AOC's got some very startling news for you.
Have I?
Yes, sir, the Gazines about his jills.
Oh, the scans?
You mean the kafloofed about the grabbing?
Oh, of course. I'd forgotten the Savins through.
Yes. That's right, sir.
I'll tell him when he comes in. Is there anything else, sir?
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, yes, there is, yes. I want to warn you, this may come as rather a shock to you. You see, this country of ours is an island. A piece of land entirely surrounded by...
Water?
No, thanks, I've just had a cup of tea. Imagine Europe a seething cauldron, a hotbed, a maelstrom, a turmoil. How are your people?
Well, very nicely, thank you, sir. Mind you, Emily's had a nasty touch.
The fact is, Costa, we're at war with Germany.
Will that be all, sir?
Yes, that's all.
No, it isn't. Costa, do you realise the implications of this?
Well, I've realised it now for about 5 years, sir.
What do you mean?
Well, if my memory serves me right, we've been at war with Germany since September the 3rd, 1939.
Well, I do think you might have told us.
Does anyone else on the camp know this?
Well, everyone but you and the AOC, sir. Besides, it's nearly over now.
Is it? Who's winning?
Oh, well, our side's winning.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, I'm hoping that one of these days I'll be getting back to Civic Street.
Oh, well, I hope the wash and brush up man at Euston has kept my job open for me.
Well, I think we'll all get our jobs back, you know. The girl who took over my job at the Foreign Office says she never wants to work a lift again.
By the way, Costa, what is your civilian job?
Oh, well, I'm Amalgamated Airlines Limited.
Oh, Costa, how interesting. I suppose you'll be needing new blood in your firm after the war?
Oh, yes, sir. There'll be any amount of openings for the right type.
Well, you'll be needing highly placed executives, men with drive and initiative who are capable of making quick decisions.
Oh, yes, sir. The scope is absolutely unlimited for the right man, of course. Amalgamated Airlines Limited is the firm of the future, you might say.
Well, Costa, I must say I've always been very pleased with your work here.
Well, it's been a pleasure to work for you, sir.
I hope you'll be able to say the same thing about you one day, Costa.
By the way, Murdoch, is that corporal post still vacant?
Yes, sir, but we haven't been able to find the right man. But I think I can find someone who could fill the post if it were upgraded to sergeant.
You amaze me, Murdoch. Who do you mean?
Costa.
By Jove, you're right. Good heavens, why didn't we think of it before? Congratulations, Sergeant Costa. I expect your fellow directors of Amalgamated Airlines Limited will be heartened to hear of your promotion.
Well, this is all very nice of you, sir. This will do Emily's twinges a lot of good. It really will. By the way, sir, I'm not exactly a director of Amalgamated Airlines.
Oh? What are you?
Well, I work the lift. Good afternoon.
How are your people?
Well, now that the news of Germany's impending collapse has trickled through, the Air Officer Commanding and the Commanding Officer are determined that much binding shall play an important part in hastening final victory. All recreation has been stopped, and the order of the day is work and more work. Well, as is often the case, when people are called on to work for long periods at full pressure, tempers are apt to become a bit frayed. It seems like this is now happening in the CO's office, where behind closely guarded doors, he and the AOC sit semi-submerged by documents and files of the topmost of top secrecy.
Oh, how can you expect me to agree to this?
But, sir, we've always seen eye to eye over things like this in the past.
Eye to eye, my foot. Here, Murdoch, is a document which will eventually reach command headquarters for the C&C's sanction. And you're asking me to be a party to it.
But, sir, everything's been arranged. The route has been worked out, billets have been organised, and transport laid on.
Well, it's putting me in a very difficult position. And I'm afraid my ruling has got to be a painful one. No, Murdoch, I can't sign it.
Very well, sir. I abide by your decision. I'll just have to take a 48 hours pass instead.
But, Murdoch, don't forget you promised to arrange your leave to coincide with mine so that we could go shrimping together.
Of course, sir. What must you think of me?
Besides, Murdoch, you must remember you've got a lot on your plate here at Much Binding.
I do, sir. I was forgetting the concert. Yes. I think you're quite right about the accordionist and the community singing. It should only happen once.
And then the chap who tells the story about the blue booties, that mustn't happen at all.
No. I quite agree, sir. Come in. Oh, it's you, Costa. By the way, why did you leave these ARP instructions on my desk? Pretty stodgy stuff.
ARP instructions, sir. That's the winning entry for the much binding script competition. By the way, sir, there's a lady and gentleman to see you. Here are their cards.
Let me see. Miss Emily Forbes Atkinson, BBC, and Mr. Stuart Skrite, BBC.
BBC? What's BBC?
Never heard of it, sir.
Well, I suppose it's the Binding Benevolent Club.
Yes. Either that or bathing beauty contest. Show them in, Costa.
Very good, sir. This way, please.
Good morning. I suppose you're the two managers here. I'll come to the point very quickly. Briefly, it's this. We, that is, Mr. Skrite and I, represent the BBC. No need, of course, to tell you what that stands for, and no doubt you're already familiar with our activities. We understand, Mr. Skrite and I, that you're organising an entertainment for your workers, and the BBC would like your cooperation in helping us, Mr. Skrite and I, to put over an entirely new idea that has been worked out by us, and when I say us, I mean, of course, Mr. Skrite and I.
Well, we'd very much like to hear this scheme. That is, when I say we, I mean, of course, the AOC and I.
Briefly, I'll come to the point again. Mr. Skrite and I, that is, the two of us, after a great deal of collaboration, have worked out an entirely new angle for a broadcast program. We have a mobile recording van operated entirely by Mr. Skrite, and I do all the organisation. With regard to the program, I'll come to the point briefly. The title, I think you will agree, is very original. I might add, at the risk of blowing our own trumpets, and when I say our own trumpets, I refer, of course, to the trumpets belonging to Mr. Skrite and I, that Mr. Skrite and I thought of the title entirely unaided. The title is Aircraftmen Work Wonders.
Oh, fancy of you thinking of that yourself.
Oh, no, I didn't think of it myself. Perhaps I didn't make it quite clear. It was the result of a joint brainwave by Mr. Skrite and I. The idea is this.
Please come to the point briefly.
Yes, I'm a very, very busy man.
Well, in a nutshell, you are giving a concert. We have a recording van.
Worked by Mr. Skrite?
Quite. And we broadcast an excerpt from your concert provided entirely by local talent.
My word, sir, what an idea. Most original.
The BBC were lucky to get hold of Mr. Skrite and you.
It's quite a new idea, eh? By the way, you'll have to hurry up if you want to record our concert because it's due to start at any minute.
Mr. Skrite sees to everything. He's dynamic.
Oh, pity. Perhaps our M.O. could do something for him. What about it, Skrite?
Oh, don't bother him now. He's too busy.
Pity he's such a chatterbox.
As a matter of fact, I've got the whole thing buttoned up and laid on.
Oh. Good show. Lay on, Max Skrite, to the naffy.
Now, quiet, everybody. Quiet, please. Now, you've got to do specially well tonight as the BBC are going to broadcast the first part of the show. So, Sergeant Spicer, your stories will have to come in the second half. Now, quiet again, please, is the AOC.
Oh, thank you, Murdoch. Well, now, chaps, as you've heard, this show is to be broadcast. Now, don't forget the takeoff is 1930 hours. Your target is the General Forces program, so I don't want you to drop any bricks.
My dear fellow, I do wish you wouldn't kick that cable. The plug's come out of its socket 3 times already. You really should know better at your age.
I'll give you a plug in the socket if you talk to me like that.
Don't upset Mr. Skrite, sir. You know how temperamental these BBC chaps are.
Now, don't forget, when the red light goes on, we're on the air. Now, where's the compere?
Sergeant Spag Brackett?
Here I am, Cock. Let me, I don't all feel nervous.
Oh, you don't want to worry, Sergeant, to take a tip from me.
Now, quiet, everyone. It's coming up now.
Who is Mr. Skrite? Right.
This is the General Forces program. And now, from an RAF station somewhere almost in England, we bring you Aircraftmen Work Wonders. And here to introduce the program as your compere, Sergeant Bartholomew Spag Brackett.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The first item on the programme tonight will be Corporal Bashit and his utility two-piece combination. In other words, the much-binding band. And talking of bands reminds me, the wife sent her night dress to the laundry and they sent it back and said they didn't wash bill tents And now, ladies and gentlemen, the match-bonding band will tear off their first piece. And now I have much pleasure in introducing temporary acting unpaid Sergeant Coster, who will sing to you in his own inimitable boogie-woogie way.
For my first number...
For your only number.
Okay. I surrender, dear. Okay, Corp. We played the game of Stay Away, but it costs more than I can pay. Without you, dear, I can't make my way. I can't really. So I surrender, dear, see? I may seem proud, I may act gay, but it's just a post. I'm not really that way. Because deep down in my heart, I say, for the second time, I surrender, dear. But how lovely you looked on the malachite crucibles. Yes, you really did. And the scent of the margin-braw and the prawny gaze, so sweet, so lovely and smelly. And then you bloggy-filed on Tuesday night. What lovely rapture that was. And there was I, so fly-be-squeeper, so deep-a-floored, it was terrible, it really was. When stars appear and shadows fall, why then you'll hear my poor heart call. For you, my life, my love, my fountain pen, my everything, I surrender, dear. Thank you very much, yours sincerely.
The next item, ladies and gentlemen, will be LAC Pullet Conjurer. A most unusual act to broadcast, LAC Pullet.
I shall now perform a few feats of legerdemain. My first experiment will involve the use of an ordinary pack of cards. I shuffle the cards so, and place them in this envelope. They are very expensive, these envelopes. I went into a shop to get them and said, "What do your envelopes run to?" The girl behind the counter said, "They don't run, they're stationary." Having recovered from your laughter, I would like you now to watch very closely.
I say, by Jove, dash good. I say, that's jolly clever. My word, that's an amazing climax. What an incredible place to bring a rabbit from.
Next, we have a sensational act, Two Boys with Guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, the Stink Pots.
Do I worry 'cause you're stepping out? Do I worry 'cause you've got me in doubt? Though your kisses aren't right, do I give a bag of beans? Do I stay home every night and read my magazine?
Am I curious when the gossip flies? Am I furious about your little white lies? And when all our evenings end, because you've got a sick friend who needs you, do I worry, honey?
You can bet your life I do. Why do I whisper green grass?
Do I worry?
Why tell the breeze it ain't so?
Am I curious?
Grass, don't tell the trees, 'cause the trees won't need a tune.
The verb for glamour, personified glamour with a capital J, it's none other than your own Flight Officer Rita Flannel.
When I'd like to sing for you both songs from Tom Jones. Fortunata, let me dream out my dreams of delight. La 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 la. Fortunata, let me dream out my dream of delight. La 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 la. Fortunata, let me dream out my dream of delight. La 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 la.
Is the there any more to that song?
Well, there is, but I've only got page 1.
Well, can you sing something else?
Yes, I can. I can sing some other time, not now.
Thank goodness for that. Goodbye!
Well, ladies and gentlemen, few of you know that in peacetime the AOC and the CO were famous saxophonists and dancers, and were, in fact, well known on the halls under the title of the Puffin Brothers. We have therefore asked them to wind up the show tonight by playing their most modern piece. Ladies and gentlemen, the Puffin Brothers.
The leads of the AOC and I haven't played for quite a considerable time, so you'll excuse us if we tune up, will you? Bang on. So, chums, for the time being you've had it, but when we're next on Merry-Go-Round in 6 weeks' time, you will all be very welcome once again at Much Binding in the Marsh, where you will see our names upon the roster. At Much Binding in the Marsh, they're Richard Murdoch,
Kenneth Horne,
and Costa.
And this is me, Joan Winters, but before I say goodbye, I'd like to thank you on behalf of Mr. Scrite and I.
So cheerio, the time has come for all of us to fly from Much Binding in the Marsh. Cheerio, folks, at Much Binding in the Marsh. See you later at Much Binding in the Marsh.
Week by week, the merry-go-round goes round the services, bringing music and fun to boys and girls in khaki and 2 shades of blue. This week was Air Force Week. Next week, the predominating colour will be khaki. Today at Much Binding, our guest was Joan Winters. The residents, Denny Dennis, Sam Costa, and of course Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horne. Peter York conducted the all-star RAF Orchestra. The script was written by Richard Murdoch and Kenneth Horne, and the program produced by David Manderson.
That's all, folks.
We hope you enjoyed our first show. Thank you for listening.